Like, ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Ay, coming down like precipitation. I ain't never met a limitation. Hate a plot in my elimination. Gotta go to Google for the information. I'm a superstar, so I got.
It's fine. They want to get going.
Welcome in, everyone, to Titan Esports. It's week number 5 of Divinity League. I'm Caleb Pang. I'm joined with Anti. How are you doing today?
I'm doing quite well. I mean, I'm once again joined by you. I mean, I didn't see any of you last week, but I'm happy to see you now.
I was in the same country as Faker, but maybe actually even the same city, but not in attendance at Worlds. I was just visiting family.
I was there one time.
Yeah,
it was like 2016 though. Oh my god, it's been so long since Faker was in LA. Anyway,
it was a good time to be a League fan because I didn't have to be up at odd hours watching Worlds.
Man.
And then,
yeah, I mean, but now you're back in North America, back to watch
jet lag
Worlds at some odd hours.
Quarters, so
back to watch Worlds at some odd hours, but back to watch Titan Esports at some very not odd hours as we're getting right underway with GCCE Street Fighters taking on Monkey Safari. Now, getting into this, remember, GCCE Street Fighters are going into this 2-2. They're firmly in the middle of the pack. They really need that one breakout performance to order to get to those higher echelons. In the meantime, Monkey Safari, completely undefeated, right? They've dropped one game over the course of the season so far. This is the team to beat, and we're very early on into the season.
Yeah, it's super impressive stuff from Monkey Safari and GCCE Street Fighters. Definitely no strangers to the scene. They made playoffs last split, and they either made to semifinals, I think. I believe they went all the way to semifinals. So quite the team themselves, and definitely have what it takes to put up a fight against Monkey Safari. But let's see if Monkey Safari can keep the undefeated streak alive here in week number 5. But yeah, it should be a good time. And we are on the kind of Worlds Patch 2. And it's been some interesting updates for the game so far.
Yeah, honestly, my thing here, right, going into this is that there's a lot of mental that really comes into play here, right? Where on one side, if you're GCCE Street Fighters, you're thinking to yourself, all right, well, I understand that we're playing against the undefeated enemy team here, right? This is a very, very strong team we're going up against. These are the people that we have to beat. Do you feel that extra pressure? Or do you turn the nameplates off? Do you just go, I'm going to play this like I'm playing my normal solo queue games. It's going to be fine. I'm not literally fighting Faker. Should be okay. Meanwhile, on the other side, we got a team of 5 Fakers over here, as all 5 of these members have been playing extremely, extremely well the entire season. But you also have to remember, when you're at the top, there is nowhere to go but down. That pressure is continually mounting on this team over and over again. And I've said it time and time again, the best way to see how strong a team actually is see how they come back after a loss. And this team, Monkey Safari, have not had to lose just yet. So we're going to have to see whether that mental is starting to really force them to crack under pressure, or if they're actually building themselves up into that number 1 contender.
That's right. And sometimes, when you're in that top spot too, you might underestimate some of your opponents, but definitely can't underestimate Street Fighters here. So we get the bans coming through right now. We got Felios and Draven banned so far on the side of Monkey Safari, and then we have Galio being banned up right now here too. So it's, kind of a lot of targeted ADC bans here on the side of Monkey Safari, and then we get a Lilia ban as well. So maybe a little bit targeting towards Kwai Adam, but definitely a very strong player we've seen in Adam. So I think that's understood why there's some targeted bans right there.
I mean, we see it time and time again. There's going to be 80 carry bans specifically designed towards certain players. It's not a matter of the super ultra meta bans. I don't really see too many teams at the top echelons of play banning Draven in first rotation. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe with CFO doing the way they're doing, we might be seeing that sometime soon. Maybe Monkey Safari is the ones ahead of the curve here. In the meantime, Sejuani as a blue side blind pickup is honestly really, really interesting here. I'm surprised we didn't just see a Trundle slam immediately. Instead, it is going to be the Wukong. We are going to get the Jinx, and with a Black Cleaver, that's going to be a ton of damage over the entirety of the enemy team. And we already see AoE being answered with more AoE here as the Sivir comes through.
Ooh, I like this too. Hyper carry answered by hyper carry. We've seen Adam on the Jinx before, so definitely no stranger to that champion. And Batman's quite experienced on the Sejuani, so I can see why they picked up. And we get the Aurora pickup too, so showing the mid laner as well. I think fairly safe. Definitely need some of the AP damage as well on the side of Monkey Safari. And with Galio banned out, it's not too bad. Oh, we can get the Sona pickup.
Ooh.
Okay,
that's definitely an interesting decision here. So Sona blind into the Sivir is something that a lot of people, when you see Sona, you think to yourself, oh, well, we're just going to take Blitzcrank. We're going to take Nautilus. We're going to take these big hook champions that can make Sona's life a living hell. So GCCE Street Fighters say, all right, we're taking away the Blitzcrank, right? Nautilus might even come next. Pyke might even be taken off the table next. Who knows? But the big thing about it is you're up against a Sivir, right? As long as you take away something like Blitzcrank, like, the Nautilus, something that can 100-0 Leona on their own, Sivir doesn't really have that much kill pressure. All she really wants to do is sitting lane, farm the minions, maybe finish a call, right? There's nothing too crazy that you have to do in order to make Sivir work. In the meantime, Jinx on the other side also doesn't really care to make many things happen, right? We are getting full-based vegan comp from GCCE Street Fighters. They are drafting very, very little aggression. They're saying we are getting to the 5-item power spike. We are getting to the end of the game, and it will be fine. In the meantime, Monkey Safari pick up the Braum for the Ornn, also manages to deal with a lot of those Jinx rockets, and the Ambessa for that 1v1 potential.
Okay, I like it too. And Bessa definitely, especially as the game goes on later, it does get pretty difficult for Ornn, but Ornn's got so much utility for the side of Street Fighters. Oh, and we get the Mel pickup too. I do like that front line with Ornn because you definitely need it with the Sona support there, but Mel should be interesting too. I mean, definitely you saw Monkey Safari ban out the Syndra because want to give Aurora a little bit easier time to avoid the range, but Mel has quite the range in her own right. This is going to be interesting. I mean, I think both teams look really, really strong, overall. And I think obviously the front line's a little bit stronger per side of Monkey Safari, but Sona late game is no joke either. What draft are you favoring more here?
Honestly, right now, my mind's just racing at 1,000,000 miles an hour, trying to make sense of why the Mel pick, right? Because Mel, I think, is one of those champions that a lot of people view in a way that doesn't quite actually fit the champion. A lot of the times they think to themselves, oh, well, this champion has such a broken W. It's so good. That's honestly not the problem, right? Mel's W is the the best design part of the champion. Her Q is obnoxious. Her E is extremely large. Her passive is a war crime, right? Her W, on the other hand, is one of those things that you can decide, hey, I'm just going to play around this ability. I can, bait it out. I can make sure that I'm not dumping all of my CC into it. And you look at the enemy team and you think to yourself, what can Mel actually do here, right? She can provide the constant DPS to the Ambessa and the Sejuani. She can reflect the Glacial Prison. I don't know. Mel is such a specific pick that I don't see not necessarily working out, but I don't really see as a focus pick for this team.
Yeah, there's not a lot of projectiles to reflect either, is the thing, right? So,
Mhm. I
outside of the kind of Sivir Boomerang, there's not really a lot going on for the
Maybe it's the
out there.
crazy ricochet. Like if this is actually for like the insane ricochet reflection tech, like I will eat my words, because that actually does do a lot, where Sivir can just hit frontline and then your backliners taking 1200 damage because they happen to commit the grave crime of standing behind their frontliner. In the meantime, I usually would expect to see something like, an Orianna, right, with the Wukong, or we already did see the Syndra ban, but, just these standard control mages. So I'm really excited to see what this does turn into.
Yeah, I mean, there's always the glacial prison that can be reflected as well, so that's also an option, and that could definitely turn the tides of some of these fights. So we'll see kind of how that goes. But we have our first game underway, and pretty standard lane so far. Wukong very, very strong in the jungle right now too, so very excited to see how Joker plays out this Wukong in this matchup. But yeah, definitely leaning into it a bit.
Yeah, and one thing to note going into this game is that Kawi Adam unfortunately did not get the proper runes loaded in. Does have the Conquer. I'm a little bit interested in seeing what the rest of the rune page does look like. But I will say, right, at the very least, Conquer, not the worst thing on planet Earth I've ever seen on Jinx. With all of the damage added onto the rockets, you can at the very least make use of it, and we do see that they do still have presence of mind, so should be doing fine at the very least. In the meantime, Key on that Sivir should be able to create a lot of space, create a lot of pressure, because Lethal Tempo has a lot stronger of an in terms of that 2v2.
Yeah, definitely. Something that Key's probably very excited to see in that matchup there in that bot lane. Sometimes when you get the wrong runes too, it could be like mentally very distracting too. Thinking like, oh, maybe I could have taken this skirmish a little better with the right runes. But sometimes it's more of a placebo than anything else. But we'll see how it goes. Joker is rotating down here for this potential bot lane fight here, but Batman is already there and in position in that tri-bush. Wards are going to spot everything out here though, so both teams are going to back off a bit. But Ares doing a pretty good job into Void so far with this Ornn. But as we said earlier too, this matchup gets a little bit harder for Ornn as time goes on. So right now, just going for some warding here as no ganks happening so far. Looks like we're just going to get the Scuttle Crab on the side of Joker's Wukong.
Yeah, it's just going to be a trade of scuttles, going to be a trade of health bars in that mid lane, and going to be even more trades in the bot lane as the farm lead does eventually go over to the side of Monkey Safari. In the meantime, top lane, I will say, right, Ornn is one of those champions that a lot of people will lane into, and they'll think to themselves, oh, well, it's Ornn. He's a tank. It's fine. I don't really have to worry about him. They disrespect the Ornn damage. They take way too much of it. And all of a sudden, you're finding yourself on the back foot. And this is something that we might be seeing here, where Ares is able to create so much pressure, able to take so much of these good trades, at the very least, as long as he has mana remaining, right? That's the one thing that Mbessa does have over Ornn here. -1 on the cannon as well. That's going to hurt real bad, especially since you're not going to be able to pick up that tier in lane if this is how it's going to be going.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Ornn's got so much sustain in lane too, right? Just being able to call in some of those items, especially if you're ahead on that gold. So definitely something not to be underestimated, because that Ornn damage definitely adds up over time. But looks like Void is going to respect, especially the early damage of Ornn here. And the mana is actually quite low here on Ornn. Ares might be in a little bit of trouble here. Doesn't have to flash yet, as it looks like a fight is going on this bottom side as well. And Monkey Safari going to start contesting this first Drake. That's Frost trying to buy as much room as possible. Joker is going to be in the area though. Do they start contesting? The Drake is quite low at this point in time in smite range, but it's going to be Monkey Safari that secures it. And here comes a fight here too. Between Worlds are going to be spent.
The root.
You see Frost going to be slowed up a bit here as Reyna out of mana already. First blood going over to Roy though, and we get another kill onto Batman. Quiet Adam just barely getting out of there. Key might have to be backing off soon, as you see Frost in trouble as well. The flash forward from the Sona, and we get the Feast of Warfare claimed 4 for 0 here for Street Fighters. Absolutely huge start for them as they're facing off against the undefeated Monkey Safari.
And Monkey's Safari gonna be put on the back foot here. GCCE Street Fighters feeling very, very good about that one. It all started off with what looked to be a solid Dragon pickup. And let's look at this one more time here, where the Dragon does get started. But Kawi, Adam, and Reina are the first on that rotation. Roy manages to pick up a kill with the ulti to start things off. Batman has nowhere to go. Beautiful flash out from Adam. And all of a sudden, with all the move speed in the world, Reina gonna be able to just flash on in, guarantee the feat of warfare, and even picking up the mid laner on top of it. Frost goes down, and that is a 4 for 0. I would argue that until that point, GCCE Street Fighters were slowly falling behind as far as the laning phase went. We're seeing a lot of missed CS, a lot of missed trades, a lot of overstays here and there, but in the end, 4 kills is a huge boon.
Yeah, I guess the only saving grace is Adam didn't pick up 4 assists in that fight or any kills. But, I mean, if you look at the goal differential already at 2,000 and a huge lead for Roy's Mel, almost finishing off the Blackfire. And this is going to make the laning matchup a little bit worse for Frost as time goes on. And, you know, Mel's one of those champs too. Like, if you get the items for her going, like, those power spikes are going to really start hitting, and the damage adds up quite a bit. You know, slight CS advantage for Void on the top side, but other than that, things are not looking great for Monkey Safari. They did secure the Drake, though, so that is one thing. But Feats of Warfare has already been secured from the side of Street Fighters. And they're looking pretty good here as they're looking to contest maybe the Grubs. We see Joker coming in, Cyclone coming out as well. Void already down to half health, but Joker in trouble, and Void takes it down. We get the call of Forge God knocking up Batman, but here comes the Between Worlds, and the number advantages are on the side of Monkey Safari. They're going to get some redemption here as they're still chasing down this Ornn. Meanwhile, going to try to secure the Grubs as well, too. This Ornn is not long for this world as Ares goes down. A double kill going over to Void. Getting this Mbessa started up early on that gold is going to be huge for Monkey Safari.
Yeah, absolutely insane pickup for Monkey Safari. They're going to be able to pick up 3 kills and the Void Grubs on top of it. Remember, that last Dragon fight looked very, very good for the GCCE Street Fighters, but the biggest thing about it was that we actually didn't see the Dragon being picked up by them. Instead, it's just the kills. It's just the golden. Don't get me wrong. Golden kills are pretty dang nice, especially on one of your main carries. But beats are not to be trifled with, and just 1 away from the neutral objective feats is a big deal. In the meantime, he going to spell shield up that 1 Q, but I will say Crescendo is going to be available very, very soon, so Reina might be looking for that window if Key isn't quite ready. But Kawi Adam just picking up the farm, is going to be stacking up the coal that I did mention earlier, but I had mentioned coal from the Sivir side, not from Jinx.
Yeah, Kawi Adam just going for a more economy here, which is not too bad, especially given how strong of a start they start off with. But, you know, a lot of that gold didn't really go into Adam's pocket. But if you look at the game state here, it's actually not too bad. You got a lot of gold on the side of the Mbessa, and the gold on the 2 ADCs is not that bad of a difference, especially because Adam didn't pick up really any of those kills. So all things considered, despite the, you know, 0-4 start for Street Fighters, or sorry, Monkey Safari, I think that they're not in the worst of positions. Obviously, Roy's Mel is going to be a problem as we see the Blackfire completed already, working out the Leandries next. But outside this Mel too, and I think that was a big issue with that fight at Grubs, right? Mel just wasn't there in time, and because of that, Monkey Safari collapsed really quickly here. Speaking of collapses, here comes Joker. The Cyclone comes out as well, and Roy's going to dish out constant damage. Is now on a rampage, 4-0 on this Mel, as now Monkey Safari, they're caught in a tough position, getting sandwiched on both sides here, but you are face checking into a Braum and a Sejuani as they still are healthy enough. Adam might be a little bit caught out here. A Glacial Person comes out. Adam going to get stunned up, but flashes over the wall to safety for a time being. Meanwhile, Roy's being chased out as well. To Roy already chunked out to half health, but here comes Call of the Forge God. Ares in perfect position. A 3-man knock-up as well, and everything's looking amazing here for Street Fighters. They don't even pick up Adam either. together, and that's going to be almost an ace. 4 for 0. Actually, essentially ace because the Aurora did die earlier in the fight. I mean, I was just saying how things didn't look so bad for Monkey Safari, but things went from okay to really, really bad.
All right, and just like that, Frost going in, trying to make something, anything happen at this dragon. But now that we've gotten 11 minutes into the game, 10 kills for GCCE Street Fighters, also denying that feat one more time. I gotta ask you one question, Caleb. You know what's better than 4 for 0 at a dragon?
What's better for 4 for 0?
5 for 0 at a dragon, as the Street Fighters unbelievably managed to pick that up without losing a single one of their members. Adam is so unbelievably close to finishing their Yuntals, and it's looking so rough for the side of Monkey Safari here. Now, don't get me wrong, they have an incredible late game team fighting composition, and the Aurora is doing so much work here. Reina has to flash out and everything, but while Void is able to do a lot of work with that Ambessa in the top side, we're gonna have to see whether or not this game can actually slow down long enough for things to happen.
Oh my gosh, and here comes the Golden Eclipse as well. Going to take out that Aurora. Just does not have enough damage on this Aurora so far for Frost. Could not even take out the lone Sona, spending almost every ability there possible. And things are just starting to snowball quite a bit here in favor of Street Fighters. 4K gold lead as we see a skirmish between the two ADCs. Key does have the item completion advantage here. And Kwai, Adam, oh, wait, hold on. Survives just barely and actually picks up the kill. That's absolutely brutal for Key. And now we have the Jinx on a 2-0 and 2. The greedy build did not punish Adam in that position. Wow, the outplay there was crazy, but just maybe slight miscalculation as we saw Key flash forward, but just not get it in time and still had the barrier up too. I feel like if Key just threw up the barrier, things could have looked very differently.
You know what? Caleb, if I had to put money on it, right? Do you think that Adam might have survived because of Conqueror healing?
That really might be the case there. I mean, and, might have even Key was surprised, right, that Adam survived, and he's like, well, do I keep going in, take another tower shot? You know, and at that point, you don't want to feed the kill back over, but unfortunately, the worst of both
you don't
want
to feed the kill back over. You already see the Sona. No point in committing the barrier. But in the meantime, Frost and the Mittens trying to walk up, trying to take a look at Roy Disney. At the very least, not going to be getting stopped by the Mel W, but are going to be getting stopped by the Mel damage. Because look at this. That is 2 items on a Mel, 7, 0, and 3. Are we sure we want the Dark Seal on Mel, on Aurora instead of the Mel here?
Yeah, things are not looking great too, but I mean, I don't know what else you could really buy with Frost with the gold disadvantage you have. Now, Adam actually doesn't have the first item completed yet, so even though up to 202 on the KDA, it's actually not that bad. And that's why I really like the fight that Key decided to take under Adam's tower there, but unfortunately just maybe a slight miscalculation, just a sliver keeping Adam alive. As look at the damage onto mid. Oh, here comes the Glacial Prison though. They're looking for the shutdown onto Roy, and it's going to go over to Frost here. You see the rocket come through, not enough to take out Frost at the moment in time, but Frost is quite low. Cyclone comes out, but you get another shutdown going over to this Aurora. Monkey Safari is not out of it yet. Back-to-back shutdowns is going to be huge. As meanwhile, we see another skirmish between two ADCs. Key, oh, here comes the Conquer proc as well, and one rocket will do it. As now Adam on a killing spree, not even a full item completed yet, but says, you know what, I don't care. I got Conquer, and I'm going to take this 1v1 fight.
Adam going to be living up to the name of the Keystone, just running over this ball lane at this point. This tower slowly beginning to fall here. Reina also going to be backing up her a carry here, as in the meantime the first tower does go down. That is feats guaranteed for the GCCE Street Fighters, and mind you, feats for a team that already has Lucidity boots on a champion is so unbelievably big. In the meantime, Ares is going to be taking a lot of damage for staying for that one minion, but at the very least it's not going to turn into a full kill. I doubt that the Ambessa is quite that strong, but that is quite a bit of damage onto a very tanky Ornn.
Yeah, definitely need some heel cut down the road for that Mbessa. But outside that Mbessa matchup in the top lane, things are looking really, really rough for Monkey Safari. I mean, and again, this is the team that hasn't lost a single series yet this season, 4-0, and they don't want to lose it quite yet. So you know they have the mental capacity to come back from this. The 2 shutdowns for Frost was pretty big, but you can see still only 1 item completion. Meanwhile, we have 2 items already completed on Roy. It's been a hot minute. And speaking of item completions, Adam is going to finish up that Young Tao. So this matchup for the Sivir in the bot lane is getting rougher and rougher over time, right? The 0-4 Sivir, obviously Sivir is going to be really strong in the late game, but right now, Adam just taking advantage of that 1v1 whenever they can. And Drake's going to be starting up for the side of Street Fighters, and I think it's going to be the right call. They're just way further ahead, and I think Monkey Safari is just going to give this up and just go for the top turret instead.
I mean, in the meantime, Ares going to be trying to walk up towards that top tower. Just maybe pick up as many minions as you can. Just the very end of it. Void and McMinnon's on the other hand, just going to be holding hands in that top lane. Nothing too crazy. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. As 3 CS left, this is going to be the biggest siege pop of the game. No, actually, still 1 minion remaining. Kawi Adam just looking for a way to really flesh out the rest of that build. And I gotta say, right, at the very least, I do remember there was a time period where Conqueror Jinx was a very popular thing, right? But that was during the time period where Jinx could always get away with taking Runan's Hurricanes. Now the question is, are you going to play around the idea that you have Conqueror and go for that Runan's Hurricane and just be like, I can just position better than my opponent, I should be fine? Or are you going to pick up the standard Phantom Dancer and say, I don't care that I have Conqueror, I'm going to work to survive as long as possible in these fights?
Yeah, the Conqueror was definitely a huge play. Oh, here comes the Glacial Fisher, though, and the Glacial Fisher, and that's going to be another shutdown going over to the side of Frost. I mean, feeding up this Aurora is not a bad strategy here, as you have, you know, Key just trying to farm up lanes as much as possible with the Ricochet. I mean, if, you know, Street Fighters keep getting caught out between these ganks here, it's definitely not over here. As you can see, the goal differential now a little under 2K instead. So it's still a long game to go, and there is a lot of late game potential on both sides. So even though, yeah, you have the ornaments, you have the Jinx on the side of Street Fighters, they could definitely match the late game power. And, you know, this, I like the adjustments that Monkey Safari are making here, just catching out these carries, especially the ones with a big bounty over their head. And it's paying off to keep them in the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely paying off here, but right now, one thing that is paying off is the patience that we've seen from Monkey Safari, understanding that you can just walk straight in. Hold on, who cares about patience?
All right, and the Cyclone comes through, but Joker is already quite low. The side of Monkey Safari is actually quite taken. But here comes Call the Forge God. Doesn't need to even land as the Braum is going to go down here. And Bessa going to be up next as the Golden Eclipse is going to grab that life there, and that's going to be 2 for 0 for Street Fighters. Quick response from them as all 5 members collapse inside their jungle. Maybe a little overextension from Monkey Safari at this moment in time too. They're looking for the turret at least on top of it, and I think they might get it with all 5 members here. They don't have grubs though, so it could be a little bit harder, and great option there to clear things out as Between Worlds comes through. Frost is huge right now and is now on a rampage. There goes Adam. They're trying to turn the fight here. 3v5 is now a 3v4. Looks like Street Fighters is going to respect the damage and pull off for the time being. But yeah, Frost is getting kind of scary now. I mean, we're talking about how maybe the Darksteel isn't as useful, but now we're already at 8 Darksteel stacks for this Aurora. Second item completed as well. Although the Rabadons is quite close for Roy. Roy just needs to be in a good position and can really start dishing out some of that damage.
My bad, Frost. I was not familiar with your game. 8 stacked on the Darksteel as we had started off the game with a very, very rough start for the Aurora. But in the meantime, those engages are not what Monkey Safari quite needs. They need to find ways how to get big picks. They need to find ways how to punish their opponent's mistakes. They need to stop looking for ways how to force a potential fight in one specific quarter of the map. They need to be having that numbers advantage from the get-go. In the meantime, Rift Herald going to be getting committed. Please, for the love of all things good and holy, do not start the Otacon.
Yeah, it looks like both teams are positioned for this potential fight. Key is still clearing up things in the middle, which I like this, just putting some of that power pushing power down into that mid lane to make things a little bit more uncomfortable, as some of this damage is starting to chunk through. They know that Key is not there yet, but Key is about to walk in by themselves into Ornn. That's definitely not where you want to be, as Batman is going to be there for some cover for now. You know, Monkey Safari, they definitely got some of this gold differential back, but things are still looking pretty scary for the side of Street Fighters. However, Rabadon's is not completed yet on Roy, so this could be a good opportunity to take a potential fight if you're going to go for one, but looks like they're going to start positioning towards this mid lane here. Neither team wants to make the first move just at this moment in time. Roy does start doing some chip damage, but doesn't do enough to these two tanks on the side of Monkey Safari. And you mentioned it too, the Runan's option and tech for the Jinx, and that is actually what Adam is going to go for too. So really just leaning into that Conqueror rune and seeing how much damage they can dish out here. Meanwhile, Key does finish off 2 items themselves as well. So these ricochets are starting to add up quite a bit in damage as the chase is on.
There goes the hunt.
Oh, here comes the flash forward. The public execution is down, and Void is in the middle of it. Call of the Forge God is coming through, but doesn't. Oh, actually knocks up 3 members here. Ares getting as much damage as possible off, but unfortunately just caught in the middle of things. 1v5 is not going to be a great spot for the Ornn to be in, and we pick off Adam as well. Things have really turned the tide for Monkey Safari as they're looking to secure the Otacon as well.
Yeah, and that's exactly what the doctor ordered. As you know, I was talking about it earlier, Caleb, right? The big thing that Monkey Safari need to do is they can't be just forcing fights when they think they have an opening. They need to be forcing fights when they know they have a man lead, right? You have all 5 members running in with the hunt. Sivir is such an amazing champion at guaranteeing a pick onto an immobile AD carry. It doesn't matter that Ornn is there. It doesn't matter that Sona's there. What matters is that Adam doesn't have flash. That's a dead Jinx. In the meantime, Otacon getting started up. Roy might be able to do it, but that's a lot of damage.
Oh, and we get the rocket through. Doesn't actually come through. We get the Monkey Safari is going to pick it up, but Frost does go down for the time being, and now the chase is on. Was this a little too egregious for the side of Monkey Safari? Can they get out in time? I think they will. I think they actually managed to take it all. So really solid trade-off, I think, for the side of Monkey Safari. And now if you look at it too, about just under 2k gold differential, but getting a lot of stats off from that Otacon. Drake is even up 2 to 2 apiece, and you still have the 3 grubs from earlier from Monkey Safari. So they're still in this game, and this is why they are the undefeated team so far in the Divinity League.
Yeah, they're still definitely in this game, especially as it continues to scale up. Key on that Sivir still needs, 2-3 more items to truly be relevant in these team fights. But there's a reason why Sivir is one of the few champions said to have a 6-item power spike, right? This champion is unbelievable when you do have gold. Right now, still sitting on the Navori Flicker Blade, still sitting on that Essence Reaver. It's not yet able to pick up that Infinity Edge, not yet able to pick up that, Mortal Reminder or the Lord Dominic's Regards, which regardless of which one it is that you do end up going for, Sivir's so unbelievably good at dishing out damage to the backline without needing to aim at them. Meantime, Frost in trouble.
Oh, we see the flash forward Cyclone, but Frost is going to get out with the Between Worlds, gets to safety. Meanwhile, there is a skirmish in this backline. Ares is hard to kill, but Void is up for the task, and you can see that Ornn damage adding up quite a bit as well, too. Void, though, very, very strong right now. 2 items so far with the Shojin and the Eclipse. Meanwhile, Ornn is still trying to finish up the second item. But we see the ornaments are starting to come through as well, too. The upgraded Rabadons is going to be huge for Roy. I still want to see some of this damage from Roy, because I feel like Roy's been a little bit silent in some of these last team fights here, as Joker and Roy is going to try to match this top side. Baron is spawned up at this moment in time, and Void really wants the spot lane turret. As you can see, Ares trying to clear out this wave as fast as possible. That's not going to be the case, and now Ares got to run for his life. Can Void pull off the 1v1 here? No, not quite. Ornn is still pretty tanky. But yeah, that's going to be it for this bot lane skirmish for the time being, as other players are positioned around this map here. Ares just trying to clear things out. I do like the decision for this Sivir to not go straight for armor pen right away, because outside this Ornn, there's not really a lot of armor on the side of Street Fighters. And, you know, if they just keep 5v1ing this Ornn, that's not really a problem either, right? I think the main focus will be trying to take out the carries on the back line. So Key going for that Infinity Edge, I think, is the right call here for that third item.
I don't know. I mean, like, it's one of those moments where there's a lot of debate that could be had here, right? Where on one hand, you think to yourself, okay, well, you know, I need my Sivir to do damage, right? And Infinity Edge is incredible for that. In the meantime, Reyna still hasn't finished the Moonstone, still hasn't finished the Dawn Core, right? This Zona is going to be a problem, to say the least. And I feel like Sivir's an unbelievable applicator of Grievous Wounds, of, you know, shield reduction, right? So if you're playing Sivir and you can get away with Mortal Reminder, you can get away with a Serpent's Fang, you're in a pretty dang good spot. But at the very least, there we go. We've got the Executioner's Calling. We're not losing out to the Shopkeep today. We are going to be able to throw that 800 gold exactly where it needs to be. And now we are finishing the Infinity Edge. Now we are going to be finishing that extra damage. I am much happier about that build variation.
Yeah, it looks like Key was in a similar train of thought, right, as you were finishing that off. This is going to be cleared up a bit for Monkey Safari at this time being. Both teams definitely want this Baron. As you see, the gold differential still hovering around just under 2k for the side of Street Fighters, but as this game goes on, that's not going to be as noticeable. And again, you did have the Otacon go over to the side of Monkey Safari. Trying to finish up the Rabadons is Frost, so definitely still a little bit behind the Mel, but not too bad all things considered. And Frost has really proven that they can really dish out quite a bit of damage. As Roy is in trouble at this moment in time too, going to throw up the Reflect just for safety. And here comes the flash forward from Joker. Cyclone is out, but is there enough damage? Is a real question. Joker's in trouble, and Joker does go down. The Golden Eclipse is going to take out the Sejuani, so jungler for the time being. But we get a double kill. It's going to be Frost getting the better of that mid lane matchup here, as Void is just slicing and dicing through the line. 4 down already, just Ares left to go. But you see Key just free firing here. Ares trying to do as much damage as possible, might even get out of here in time. Does Ares pull it off? No, does not. And there goes the ace here, as Void just barely gets out. A huge team fight for Monkey Safari, and now they have the first gold lead they've had all game long.
Yeah, and Monkey Safari going to be picking it all up with such a huge pick here, right? Roy going to get completely separated from the team. In the meantime, Joker up in that front line, going to die because of the reduced healing. Reyna did all that she could, but you cannot heal through the Executioners enough. In the meantime, Ares getting stopped up by Void's Ambessa, and Void sees one opening, one lapse in Judgment, and all of a sudden that's both of the backliners dead. Ambessa, a phenomenal champion at allowing Void to just run straight on in. In the meantime, Key just gonna run back into the fight, able to eventually take out Ares with the help of their team here. But that is almost certainly a huge turning point in this game. That's an Infinity Edge completed for Key, and if you thought Sivir didn't do damage before, just you wait. This champion only gets stronger.
Yeah, definitely gonna need some armor penetration, as we saw how long it took to take down Ares. But I think the problem is Ares is just the only one left alive and still dished out quite a bit of damage. Almost took out Void in the process, just not quite. The positioning, which is a little unfortunate for Street Fighters there, right? With a tough potential pick off on Roy, you saw Joker kind of force his hand there and just forced the fight, but there just wasn't enough damage to follow up at that moment in time, and Ares wasn't there to take up all that damage until after the fact. And just the team fighting from Monkey Safari has been absolutely supreme in this mid to late game so far, and they keep this up, things are not looking great for Street Fighters. They had such a great early advantage, but things are starting to snowball a little bit here. The ornaments are going to continue coming through, though, so going to make everything a little bit stronger for the side of Street Fighters. But the map control is completely on the side of Monkey Safari right now, and they could maybe even look to go for a Baron or potentially bait one in, as you can see the map is quite dark for Street Fighters.
Yeah, and I do know ornaments are clearly a big thing, right? You know, you have 2 ornaments available right now because you get your first one at 13, then it's 14, 15. And there we go. This is what I was about to say, where Adam is almost certainly going to be the next benefactor of these ornaments. It is going to be going towards that Infinity Edge, which had not been completed until right now. So instead, it went over to the Death Cap, it went over to the Triforce, and we're going to have to wait until Ares hits level 16 if we want to be seeing that upgraded Infinity Edge. Honestly, I still think that one of the biggest travesties that Riot has done is removing the fun, silly names from the Masterwork items, but in the end, beggars cannot be choosers, as GCCE Street Fighters are begging for an opening back into this game.
All right, and Street Fighter's trying to poke their head around too, but it is scary, especially given the front line of Monkey Safari. We see the TP from Ornn coming through. Oh,
Whoa!
Here comes the Cyclone. 4-man Cyclone going to be knocked up here. And here comes Call the Forge God going to knock up an additional Sejuani. But Void is on a rampage, and Roy does go down. That's a heavy damage healer. However, Void is taken down as well. The Jinx is doing a ton of damage as Adam's just in the back, just free hitting here and trying to chase down Ki as well. Takes down the ADC. We get a quadra kill for Adam, and you get the shutdown as well. And now you can see Adam is online, just shooting away at this bear. What a huge fight there for the side of Street Fighters, and the Ornn wasn't even there right off the bat too. Ares had a TP in a little bit later, but Frost showed up even after the Ornn, and I think that was the opening that needed. A huge Cyclone to start things off.
Can they do this? I don't think they actually have the ability to take this bear, and they're going to be backing off, and they're not going to be able to finish that one quite yet. But in the end, I mean, Adam got extremely excited. The Conqueror and the Runins paying off dividends in that fight there. But I mean, all of that's without any armor penetration here. And honestly, Roy's probably kicking himself in the butt a little bit, saying, "Ah, man, that was my 80 carries Penta. That would have been so cool." And look at that 100% crit chance. Lord Dominic's regards picked up for Adam. And I don't know. I feel like I've been saying Adam's praises a lot in this game, but when you're playing Jinx with this kind of a team composition, the entire composition will revolve around you. It doesn't matter that your mid laner is also a DPS champion that is extremely fed. The entire composition is still based around allowing you to get your auto attacks off, and Adam right now is making good use of that. In the meantime, Monkey Safari trying to bait out a Baron fight, trying to bait out the possibility of getting a pick here. The hunt is available for Ki, and there is 1 or 2 openings available on the side of Monkey Safari. Are we going to be seeing them taken?
Yeah, we have all ultimates online, a lot of flashes available too, almost all summoners ready. So there's going to be a big potential fight here being set up. But I really love the aggression from Joker in these games, right? Just going in head first, going for the Cyclone, and just providing so much space for your ADC, for, you know, Roy as well as getting caught up a little bit in the early stages. But I think Void has a choice, right? You either go for the Mel or you go for Jinx, but you don't really have enough time to go for both. And because of that, one's going to deal more damage to the other. But Void gets caught out quite a bit here. But here comes the Sejuani, and Roy gets taken out right away. Call the Forge God is going to knock up 2 as well. Mac Mittens and Ki going to be it. Ki actually takes out the Ornn though, and a double kill going over to Frost. Things are looking really good for Monkey Safari so far. They're still chasing for more, but the damage from Quiet Adam is still a lot, not enough. And now you see just the support and tank left available. It's going to be an ace now for the side of Monkey Safari. I don't know how they turn this around, but they get a 5-0, and they're looking to end the game.
Yeah, not only are they looking to end the game, like the hunt is like it's continuing to move those minions up even further, and it was so many good fights, so many good opportunities back to back. But in the end, what are you standing up for? The GCCE Street Fighters gonna be caught lacking. They're going to be caught with their Nexus towers down, and there goes the Nexus, there goes the game, and there goes the hopes and dreams of GCCE Street Fighters taking game number 1 as Monkey Safari cement their spot at the top at the beginning of the series.
What a crazy last fight there, too. I mean, you saw Boyd actually getting called out right off the bat, but the engage from Batman was huge. Frost with a follow-up as well, and you just blow up Roy before Roy can do enough damage. And, you know, Adam doing as much as they could in that fight, but just, you know, being down members so early is so tragic there. As you see the damage, right? Roy dishing out a ton of damage, so does Adam, but look at Frost, right? Really catching up in that damage in that mid to late game. Things look really bad for Frost in that early game, honestly, that far behind, but couple shutdowns, honestly, and Frost was caught up.
Honestly, one of the big things here is look at Key's damage, right? On the Sivir, able to constantly output as much damage as possible, keeping up with Adam. Yes, you might be down 3,000 gold. That's 3,000 gold against a Jinx, right? A Jinx with Runin's Hurricane and Conqueror, a build that's essentially designed to do as much damage as possible. That last fight was so tragic, not just for the GCCE Street Fighters, but for Adam specifically. If a single member of the Monkeys had gone down, that would have been a completely different fight. Instead, it's the entire game from the get-go, and I love to see that killer instinct coming in from Monkey Safari. Shows you exactly why they are sitting at #1 in this league right now. But don't go anywhere, because if game #1 brought us that close of a banger, imagine what game #2's got in store.
Welcome back to the Divinity League, Titan Esports. I'm Caleb Pang. I'm joined with Anti. We're talking a little bit about League. You know, obviously we had a banger of a first game. We're talking a little bit about Worlds as well too, and who we're rooted for. Respectively, we're both rooted for the GOAT himself. But in my opinion, I feel like it's just like we're living in such a unique time where after Faker retires, there might never be a player like that. You know, it's like watching like
it's hard to root against Faker,
Yeah,
right? I mean,
yeah.
that being said, right, when it comes to teams like T1, GCCE Street Fighters, no, sorry, Monkey's Safari, finishing the game that decisively reminds me of a T1 style victory, right? Where you just win a random team fight in mid lane and you decide, all right, we're just going straight through the Nexus towers. It doesn't matter if we have minions or not. We're finishing it. We're ending it. We're finishing it all off here. And we've seen Divinity games go so long. I mean, I know last week, you might have missed it, Caleb. Game number 1 was almost 50 minutes long. It was a very long night for a 2-0 of all things, right? That being said, we're not seeing that kind of stuff here, right? Monkey Safari extremely decisive with their decision making, with their shot calling, with their plays, and with their incredible attention to detail here. And we saw from the Street Fighters, they absolutely have what it takes, right? You cannot be counting these players out. You cannot be counting out how much damage they can output, how much togetherness, how much unity they have as a team. But at the very least, you have to remember, Monkey Safari is sitting at number 1 for a reason.
Definitely. I mean, and the team fighting on both ends was just really solid, right? Across the board. I mean, it was just like team wipe after team wipe, but just going back and forth. I give a lot of respect to both junglers, Joker and Batman, right? Both just kind of full sending it and try to set up buying as much space as possible for their carries in these fights. But the front line was definitely a little bit scary on the side of Monkey Safari with that Mbessa, with the Braum, with the Sejuani, just 3 giant walls, right? And, you know, you got Adam just running for their lives, trying to kite as much as possible, and Roy just being caught in a tough spot, right? I mean, I think that's one Mel's disadvantages is the lack of mobility, right? And with as a fewer skills to reflect in that game, even though the Mel was super fed and had so much damage output, it just maybe wasn't the best utilized mid lane champion they could have picked up. But it is a best of 3, so let's see if Street Fighters can force a game number 3 here against the undefeated Monkey Safari. This is also a fearless format, so every champion that we saw in the first game and subsequent games will not be eligible for the next game. That means we'll have a total of what, 20 champions banned out if you include the bans for this upcoming game, and we'll definitely see how people adjust for these. But it looks like a lot of target bans in that first game were towards Adam, and for good reason, as Adam was just 1 kill short of a Penta. Yeah.
1 kill short of a Penta. Honestly, 1 kill short of saving the game in that last fight as well. It was on a knife's edge the entire time. This time around, knife's going to end up pointing at the Street Fighters. So we're going to have to see what this does turn into as we get slowly into the draft. Now, as far as I'm concerned, we are going to once again be seeing that Aphelios ban, that Draven ban, that Lilia ban. Those are 3 bans that are being done not because these teams think that these are super meta champions, but these teams have players that they do not want to be dealing with. Are you sure you want to be handing Joker that Lilia? Oh my goodness, I just said her name and all of a sudden I can't even remember. But yeah, are you sure you want to be handing Joker that Lilia? Are you sure you want to be handing Key that Zeri? There are these champions that you have to make sure you do not be giving over to your opponents. And in the end, only time will tell what we actually do have in store.
Yeah, you make a really good point too about that last team fight. I completely neglected to realize is the Jinx didn't get a reset. You know, not a single member of Monkey Safari died there, and that was absolutely huge because if one died, especially early on, that whole fight looks different, and maybe Street Fighters takes that first game right off the bat. So denying Adam that reset and that Jinx passive was massive for that team fight. But this is why Monkey Safari is undefeated this split. Just in those tough situations, they are able to clutch up and just know how to close out the game if you give them just an inch they'll take a mile from you. And you know, they played phenomenally well, especially given how tough of a start it was. But Street Fighter is definitely a team that looks like they can still take the games off of this undefeated team too. So let's see how they adjust for the second game.
Yeah, we're just gonna have to see what things do come into fruition. There we go. We get the draft started up.
All
The
right.
cat comes in, and so do the rest of the members of the squad. So right now, Monkey Safari going to be taking up blue side. Once again, Nephelio's taken off the table. I'm going to expect to see that Draven and Lilia also taken away here. Now, one thing I will also note that happened in that last game, we saw Sejuani being picked up blue side first pick. That is an insane statement pick, especially says one thing. You don't play Trundle, right? If you're picking Sejuani blind, that is full confidence not only in your Sejuani, but full confidence in your team's ability to scout the enemy team there. So if you don't have a Trundle available, you know who else is really, really good and gets relatively countered by Trundle? Xin Zhao.
Yeah. And I don't know if there's a Xin Zhao player on either side of the junglers, but that is, it's not a bad pickup for Monkey Safari if they opt to go for that as well. As we see pretty much similar bans all the way throughout. I think it wasn't a Maokai ban last game. It was Zeri and Udyr, but I can't remember. Oh, we get a J4 pickup. Great early engaged jungler here for the side of Monkey Safari. And I think they're just very comfortable with just letting Batman blind the jungle every single time.
Yeah, but, okay. So last time I was criticizing GCCE Street Fighters a little bit for not going for an immediate counter pick on that jungle because, when you're picking jungles that do have a counter pick available, why don't you pick that counter pick, right? In the meantime, I love this pickup from the Street Fighters in game number 2, Jax, a standard counter pick to Jarvan jungle. Also a very, very good top laner, so you still have the ability to flex. And Seraphine, a very good, very highly underrated support, I have to say, right? And on top of that, still flexible into that mid lane. Meanwhile, Yunara going to be picked up, Rakan going to be picked up. These two champions that are very strong in organized play, and more than that, very flexible in that they don't really run into lanes where you think to yourself, man, I really wish I wasn't playing this game, right? In the meantime, Quay gonna be picked up. Still nothing too set in stone just yet, right? We might be seeing that go over to Adam. We might be seeing that one go over to Roy. Honestly, I expect the Quay to go over to Roy. But, that being said, this is still a relatively nebulous team composition. And you have to remember when it comes to these, swapping champions around in the draft, you can do that as much as you want, as long as you build a real team composition in the end, right? Now, that Camille ban does tell me we're probably going to be seeing that Jackson in the jungle, so we're going to have to see what this does turn into here. The 4th pick will really set things in stone. Are we going to have a Synergy carry? Are we going to be having a mage bot lane?
Yeah, and it's... Oh, we get that Cassante pickup. I do like that too. Give me some solid front line for Street Fighters, and you got a lot of range, a lot of AP so far too. So if we're going to round out with probably one final ADC, I'm going to see what Adam opts for here. But we get the Talia, okay. There is definitely a lack of range on the side of Monkey Safari, right? Especially Yunara, a little bit shorter range there. Talia is not bad, right? But you do tend to get out ranged by Quay as well. And Seraphine just has a ton of range. And we get the Renekton pickup on the side of Monkey Safari. So definitely a lot of all-in on the side of Monkey Safari. Very engage heavy. We're going to see how Street Fighters decide to respond here. Oh, we get the Smolder pickup. Okay. This is interesting. I mean, I feel like a lot of people pick up Yunara as a counter Smolder these days, but maybe Adam feeling confident here. I mean, especially with the range of Seraphine as well. Maybe we could keep Yunara at bay for a bit of time, but I don't know. Yunara's not bad into Smolder at all. If you don't get the stacks going for Adam, it could spell disaster.
So what I will say, Caleb, right? So I do definitely agree with you, right?
Yeah.
Yunara is very much a good pick into the Smolder in terms of she also scales very well. She also team fights very well. She also puts out a lot of AoE damage. Now, one thing I will say is Yunara isn't Draven, right? Yunara isn't Tristana. Yunara doesn't have a way how to force a kill, how to force a fight onto Smolder in the same way that some of these other AD carries are. So when you have Seraphine, when you have Cassante, when you have Jax, or these champions that get ridiculously powerful the later you get into a game, it's honestly just tripling down on that and saying, you know what? I don't care if we have any winning lanes. I'm just going to play a champion that'll win eventually. As long as I can trust my teammates to survive as long as possible, as long as the game state doesn't get too out of hand, we should be fine. In the meantime, Monkey Safari with that Renekton on top lane, with that Jarvan in the mid lane, we're going to be seeing some early game skirmishing going on. And if we don't see any early kills coming in from Monkey Safari, we might be seeing some disaster brewing on the Rift.
All right, well, let's see how that goes as both junglers are going to be in the mid lane here, just dancing around a little bit. But we can see. Oh wait, no, this is Roy. It's Smolder mid. It's Adam. It's Adam on the way. Okay, things changed quite a bit here at this point in time too. I mean, this bot lane is actually not going to be very fun for Key because you get super outranged from the Hui and the Seraphine. And if
I
you can
like
slow
this
down
even more.
yeah, things okay. I take back what I said. I mean, especially, and you get the stacks a lot easier on the Smolder as well too. So you're gonna have to play really aggressive on this Talia to slow down the Smolder. But I mean, I think Key's just thinking, all right, like I'm not that afraid to Smolder in the mid lane or in the bot lane, but yeah, this bot lane is going to be rough for the side of Monkey Safari.
Yeah, and on top of that, you know, Roy going to be rocking that fleet footwork. Just going to make sure to try to stay alive as long as possible in that mid lane. Now, I would be wary of the top lane roams. I mean, when you have Renekton and Talia, right, it's going to be very, very easy to set up that seismic shove, whether it be coming in from top lane, whether it be coming in from mid lane. So it's going to be a lot of watching the map as much as possible. In the meantime, Adam rocking yet another one of these mages in the bot lane. We've seen Adam on these mages time and time again, and they've always been very comfortable looking on them. So this time around, we're going to see what that does turn into, as many AD carries in bot lane tend to struggle because they don't actually have so much practice playing against these longer range champions.
We see the aggression though coming out from Mac Mittens so far though to start chunking out Reyna a bit here. I mean, Adam is still quite healthy at this moment in time, and you know, I think Key doing a great job of just keeping up with CS for the time being. So maybe not as bad of a lane as we expect. I mean, this is also the undefeated Monkey Safari so far here. As we see the engage coming out from Mac Mittens, Reyna already below half health, but here comes a lot of damage being dished back out to Key, and Key is now in trouble. Yes, there were cons at full health, but not your ADC. I see these two top lanes are skirmishing. Ares is down a level, and this is going to be advantageous for Void for the time being. Ares just can't get to that level 3 yet. And action all over the place. And it looks like Frost is not going to land the skill shot onto Roy for the time being. But Void really taking advantage of this top lane matchup yet again.
Yeah, and you can see right there, Void making use of that empowered W, gonna make sure that that guarantees no shield coming in from Ares, and that is a very low Cassante. Honestly, if Void had Fury, that would have been a time to dive as the Renekton. And a lot of the times, Cassante, not really a champion you want to be looking to dive. You know, this is a very, very difficult situation to find yourself in, but this is exactly the situation you need to be in if you are picking Renekton in that top lane, right? You can't just be picking Renekton as a, hey, I hope my jungler comes, I hope my mid laner comes, I hope it's all fine, I hope Roy doesn't just die out of nowhere here. Watch Batman coming in to the mid lane, and watch Joker in the bot.
Key already spent the flash here. Joker coming through, flash forward and stuns up both members. Key is quite low, but I don't know if there's enough damage yet, as Key is almost going to be taken out, but no, not going to be the case here. We'll have to reset at this moment in time. It looks like Street Fighter is going to try to shove in this wave as fast as possible here, but Key actually sticking around a little bit, maybe greeting for some of this experience. Let's see if it ends up backfiring or not. But the assistance was there to try to slow down this Yunara. I mean, I didn't think that this bot lane would need as much assistance from the side of Street Fighters, but they're not having the easiest lane matchup as you would expect here from the double range here. Meanwhile, the skirmish is coming through here. Ares actually up a level over Void, but Void feeling very comfortable still, does not care at all. Just going to keep... Oh, and the seismic shove lands onto Roy. The minions are going to block the threaded volley, though. So going to be a little bit safe for the time being, but really low on health. Almost out of mana as well. This could be the perfect time to pick off the Smolder.
Yeah, it could be the perfect time, but watch Joker looking at Frost here.
Oh, seismic shot doesn't land. Roy almost down, but does get out of there just in time. And not enough damage to follow up on Frost. So... Joker just going to pull off for a time being, but this lane is getting a little bit annoying for Roy. However, still has us, keeping up in CS. And as long as you're getting stacks, as long as you're not dying, it's not a bad time for Smolder. But as expected, would be a slightly tougher earlier game for Smolder. I mean, this is not like a melee mid matchup, right, where you can easily stack off your opponent there, and you have a lot of chances of getting caught out quite easily here. As Ares starting to make this matchup a little bit slightly better. Did recall first though, so does have the Ruby Crystal and the cloth armor to make this matchup a little bit better here. But in comes Void, not scared to take this fight, even down items. Let's see if it's going to matter or not. Conquer is proc, and level 6 is going to be reached on this Renekton first. Might see a potential dive. We'll see. The J4 is in the area.
Yeah, J4 is in the area. There is no vision coming in from Ares. Ares also has no W, but look at the mid lane. Roy in trouble.
Mom is called, and the Unraveled Earth seismic jump lands onto both members here. Meanwhile, Ares is getting ganked on top of it. Somehow, no one's died yet in this game, but there's a lot of action so far as Roy's life is a little bit rough here so far in this mid lane, doing as best as he could to avoid these skill shots, but has to fly through some of that Unraveled Earth, and you can see Joker just hovering the Smolder as much as possible, trying to keep this carry alive. Because that is going to be your win con in the late game.
Yeah, I mean, Caleb, you remember what I said at the very beginning? Monkey Safari need to make something happen early, right? They might be playing a team composition that does scale, but you are not going to beat a team composition that's tripled down on scaling. Their mid laner, their top laner, their bot lane, honestly, even their jungler, you could say they quadruple down in terms of the scaling here. And if Mac is in trouble, where is the rest of the team?
Mac is quite low now too. Oh, and we get first blood going over to Seraphine on Reyna, and we see Key trying to do as much damage as possible. This is a 1v2. Key though is just autoing away as much as possible. Might have overextended as Joker's now here to join the fray, and Key goes down as well. Adam going to pick up the kill. 2-0 to start things off for Street Fighters.
Yeah, and a 2-0 start, but where have we seen this one before? 2-0 start doesn't exactly fill me with confidence after that last game, Caleb. And right here, we're gonna have to see what this actually does turn into. Is this gonna be the early Ruby Crystal, early Kindle Gem, really? But we're going to watch that replay real quick, see how this started off. So Mac goes into the bush, gets just rooted up, hit with every single skill shot on planet Earth. The flash forward coming in from Adam as well to guarantee that the encore Q will kill. He also tries to put in as much damage as possible, gets a little bit of extra tunnel vision. There's no flash on your Yunara, and here comes Joker, just ruin that hand for Key.
Yeah, I mean, I think Mac Minus got a little too tunneled on clearing out that ward in the bush. Took way too many hits in the process there, unfortunately, and Key blood in their eyes, but unfortunately just not able to close it out, especially with Joker hovering in that area. Joker putting a lot of priority in this bot side at the time being. Roy though might be in slightly trouble, takes a lot of damage as well. I mean, the Smolder is just not having the best of times, but we'll see. It did actually start with a Dorn's Ring as well, which is kind of interesting. Just wants to span off as many spells as possible. A lot of people opt for that Dorn's Blade on that Smolder start, but down a level, and Frost is very, very healthy right now and having a good time in this matchup as Void Grubs do go over to Street Fighters.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those matches where I'd argue that Doran's Blade is one of those items that's very, very good if you see yourself actually auto-attacking your opponent on repeat, right? Where you have the use of that extra AD. In the meantime, in a lane like this, where Roy's just walking up, queuing the minion wave, and honestly, more than content to not interact whatsoever, Doran's Ring's so good here. You just get more mana, you get more damage to thin out that way, but most importantly, you get the ability to pick up 2 health pots early on, right? That's even more sustain than the Omnivamp that would have come in from that Doran's Blade. But I mean, all builds aside, this game's looking so good for the GCCE Street Fighters, as the composition that they built up itself is executing flawlessly.
Yeah, I mean, you could tell Roy's not even looking for any type of aggression into this Talia. Just only focus on minions with sacrifice as much health as possible and just trying to get to that 225. We'll definitely do a stack check throughout the game to see how close this Smolder is getting to it. But keeping up with CS against Frost's Talia is going to be great, especially because you haven't traded off any kills yet. Meanwhile, top lanes are going to be skirmishing quite a bit, as Void is going to take the advantage in that one yet again. With the later recall, going to be able to pick up a little bit more items over this Cassante, and just having a good time already on this Renekton into Ares' Cassante. No gank going to come up though, so unless a crazy solo kill happens on the top side, I think Ares is going to be a-okay.
Yeah, I mean, definitely going to be happy with the current lane state. I will say, right, Batman on that Jarvan not really doing so much in terms of, you know, the overall map impact, right? We've seen one dragon come through. We've seen one gank in that top lane, not quite managed to net the kill. But in the end, Monkey Safari slowly following behind as far as the pressure goes. But as far as the gold goes, GCCE Street Fighters are very happy with the current state of the game.
Yeah, and you know, Smolder hitting 225 is not really the end of the world, right? If you execute team fights pretty well, if you get pick off things. So we'll see how that goes. Speaking of Smolder, it's going to take a bunch of damage here. Oh, here comes Mom as well for some healing, keeping Roy alive just barely, but taking a lot of damage in this exchange yet again, as Frost just trying to abuse this matchup as much as possible to make things tough for Roy. But I think Roy does not mind, you know, just hanging in there, just stacking away as much as possible, and doing a decent amount of trade damage back over to this Talia as well.
Yeah, doing a decent amount of that trade damage, almost hitting the triple digits in terms of the farm here, as Roy right now just continue to stack up, not really threatened in any way, shape, or form. No kills going down for the side of GCCE Street Fighters. And you know, turning up
a few times.
some strange amalgamation of both teams, right? We're all just gonna hold hands and sing Kumbaya in a campfire circle as Smolder slowly gets closer and closer to 225 stacks. It is looking dire for the side of Monkey Safari, and they're trying to make something happen.
Oh, the Spiraling Despair does land onto Key, and Mac Mins is caught in it too. And here comes the charm as well from Reyna, but the Cataclysm right under turrets, they don't care as well, as Mac Mins does go down. So much bloodshed. Both bot laners on both sides going down, but the Feast of Warfare does go over the side of Street Fighter. So overall, a pretty solid engage from them, but you can tell that Monkey Safari, they don't care. They're all in. They're going to crash a wave down as we see the Kraken is finished up on the Yunara here. Another fight going on the top side. Void now in trouble. Finally gets the help that Ares needs. Oh, the Renekton does get out.
What a flash.
Can't fly. Oh, and the leap forward comes through, but the fight continues here as Frost going to go come in helping the top side. Seismic Shove is going to land. Ares in trouble. Only a few autos away. It does get taken out from the threaded volley. Frost coming in just in time. Kawhi Adam teleporting up here on the way, but just died and might go down yet again, taking so much damage from Frost on this Talia. Redemption coming through and doing a good chunk of damage. Adam just surviving in time, but yeah, that would have been absolutely brutal for Adam if Adam goes down right
Watch the swag flag.
Respawning. Batman's
All
here.
right, here comes Batman. And there it is.
Adam going down yet again. Batman all over the map. Another teleport coming back through. Now it's going to be the Cassante. Ares gets hit with a seismic shove right on landing, but Cassante a little bit bulkier than the Hui. Can't take the damage, no problem. A lot of back and forth there, but I think overall, Street Fighters looked like they took, or Monkey Safari took the better of that exchange.
Yeah, Monkey Safari absolutely taking the better of that exchange. Yes, your Renekton does go down, but he does come back with a fully completed Black Cleaver, and all of a sudden, that Cassante is actually something that you can take down in the top lane. In the meantime, in said top lane, Frost is throwing yet another rock, and the rocks just continue to fire off. Key, on the other hand, just going toe-to-toe with Reyna, and I'm gonna be real with you. As broken as Seraphine can be, I don't think that 1v1ing the enemy AD carry when you're still on support budget is the play. Meantime, Batman just picking up more vision in this jungle. I was criticizing the Jarvan for not making enough happen early, but right now we're having everything on the planet happen.
All right, Mac Mittens does get the double knockup, and Batman actually gets out for now, as even after getting hit by the Spiraling Despair, they're landing everything so far onto this J4, and J4 gets hit with the Encore and finally goes down. Joker picks it up. Void is now in trouble too, also goes down as Joker is continued to take the fight, but finally Key is going to be the one to take down Joker after that double kill. Jungler's down on both sides, but Frost is very, very strong right now. Reyna looking for something. Adam full health as well. I don't think either team is going to opt to contest for this Drake for the time being. Seismic shove landing yet again onto Roy, as Roy trying to do whatever he can to try to grab as much of the stacks as possible. Actually, a little bit ahead of the Celia as well, but that was kind of a chaotic fight, and Batman taking a ton of damage before finally going down.
Yeah, a huge amount of damage on that Jarvan. A huge flash coming in from Roy there, being forced off of that mid lane once again. And I said before, right, so much of Smolder is just about surviving. So much of Smolder is just about stalling things out. And yes, things are slowly getting stalled out, but when being under a kill a minute should not be an accomplishment for when you're trying to stall out the game, right? When you're trying to quadruple down on that late game scaling, when you're trying to quadruple down on quintuple down really on your ability to play together in a late game team fighting composition. But in the end, it's all just going to come down to who actually has the bigger wallet once these fights come around. For now, it's GCCE Street Fighters, but not by much.
Yeah, and another Drake going over now, a first Drake actually for Street Fighters, but that is going to help them draw out this game as much as possible, delaying that soul point as long as they can. And, you know, the fact that they even have more kills over Monkey Safari is not going to be a good sign, as, you know, that Roy is going to be getting these stacks as soon as possible. Has the Essence Reaver completed as well. So scaling quite a bit and ahead on CS actually over Frost. I think that's a tough thing, right? Because Frost has that mobility with the Weaver's Wall to just help out in team fights, but Roy doesn't care. Roy's just going to stay in lane and keep CSing. The team already knows on Street Fighter side that they're not going to have Roy online for a while and just going to let him farm as much as possible and get online. And even if they're down a man in these fights, not going to be a huge issue, as they are going to pick up the Rift Herald here for the side of Monkey Safari.
Yeah, that is one Rift Herald picked up for Monkey Safari, but that is the feats picked up for GCCE Street Fighters once again. 2 games in a row, 2 feats in a row, and all of a sudden, even more gold getting poured into the pockets of the Street Fighters here. And honestly, it's game number 2, right? I mean, you need as much gold as you can get. You've already used up your second quarter. Now, the question is, are you going to be able to win this one for the game number 3 to come about? You don't have any more quarters to put into the machine here. You can only win streak it to victory, as right now Roy could be in trouble.
Doing some damage, but the charm comes through, and Roy is calling Mom for some additional help. Somehow survives. Batman goes down, so does Key, and things are looking disastrous now for Monkey Safari as they go down 3 members after catching out the Smolder, but just not enough damage to kill him.
Yeah, just barely not enough damage. Yo, Mom came in, and then all of a sudden, Mom came in. You know, Reyna coming in with that redemption, with that shield, with that heal. You know, Adam also coming in, trying to make sure to parent their child in that mid lane, as Roy able to stay alive even longer on that Smolder, longer than anyone on Monkey Safari had any business dealing with. And all of a sudden, Void's not even gonna have a CS lead in top lane. This is looking disastrous for Monkey Safari.
Yeah, we have shutdown gold on a Smolder right now. Things are not looking great here, too. I mean, Joker quick with the response as well as Reina in that situation, and just, just buying as much support and time as they can for the Smolder. And things are looking kind of scary. Well, we'll get a stack check soon on the Smolder, see how close Smolder is to that 225, but should be already at 125 plus at this point in time, too. And that's going to help accelerate the stacking quite a bit. Going to go on the off lane here, and right now, I mean, Roy is starting to look a little bit scary, right? If you can't kill the Smolder now, it's going to be even harder down the road.
Yeah, gonna be harder down the road. We're getting closer and closer to that Infinity Edge, as well as Roy is going to be able to get so much damage off with these Qs, with these stacks, with this damage coming on in. In the meantime, top lane has been... It's looking like a Zynga game, right? That's Farm Merge Valley up there in that top lane. They just put in those minions together, put in those abilities into that wave, trying to pick up as much minions as possible, as much gold as possible, as Void right now not really able to do too much, right? The Cassante was picked first, the Renekton was picked up as a counter pick, and we still haven't really seen much of the counter pick's value so far, and all of a sudden, here comes Joker.
Joker looking to help out Ares as much as possible. Void gonna get out there just for now. Otacon is spawned, but I don't think either team's going to start contesting it for the time being, because they just want to give Roy as much time as possible. And going for this Otacon when your Smolder's not fully stacked and don't really have the pry on the top side may not be the best. But there are a lot of members here in the time being, sending all 5 members actually up to Zonkop. Maybe they do opt to go for it at this point in time, feeling pretty strong about their 3K gold lead, I should say. But members of Monkey Safari are here, and they're going to start up on this Otacon. Is this the right call? It's a real question. Sometimes you get baited as you see those resistance going down quite a bit, taking a lot of chunk of damage here too. And they're kind of split, and this Otacon just kind of sandwiching, or like going in between the team of Street Fighters, and they're just kind of leashing it now for Monkey Safari. Mom is called though. It lands onto 2 members here, as the Redemption is going to provide some healing. All out comes through on Ares, but gets instantly taken out. I don't know if this Otacon was the fight of choice or not. Void is going in there, slicing and dicing. The Otacon goes over the side of Monkey Safari, and we get a shutdown going over to Key. Key's going for more as well. Cataclysm comes through. Reina is caught in a tough position, and Key picks up so many kills, a triple kill, so much gold going over, and the Smolder goes down too. Just the Otacon was so greedy from the side of Street Fighter, saying they're absolutely punished for it.
And we've seen this song and dance time and time again, Caleb. Let's take a look at this one more time. McMillan's looking over the wall for an opportunity. Not quite going to be joining the team, but here comes Mom. Here comes the Redemption. Here comes the fight. Ares goes straight in on Batman. Batman turns around, kills that Cassante immediately as there is no resistances there. Joker tries to go in on that backline, but the rest of Joker's backline is getting taken up by Void. The dash forward from Key, the damage coming in as the Cataclysm locks up Reina, and Dragon spawns as the rest of GCCE Street Fighter's kingdom falls around them, is what we would say had Batman not just gone down in the mid lane.
Batman goes down. The Rift Herald doesn't get the charge through as well too. Frost caught in a tough position. All 5 members here for Street Fighters looking for some revenge after that Otacon fight, but it looks like only Batman's going to be the one going down for the time being. Looks like this should be an easy Drake secured up for Street Fighter. So getting a little something out of this last few minutes, but things were looking so good for them until Key just went to town. And credit to Batman as well, the patience to hold on to that Cataclysm towards the end. You could have easily used it on Joker when Joker is diving Frost, but instead opting to hold on to it and just secure the kills on the back end against all the carries on the side of Street Fighters. And they were so split, right? Because Ares goes in, dies almost instantly, already being chunked quite a bit from the Otacon and from all the projectiles. And then Joker is chasing down Frost, but that means that you have no front line for all your carries in the back and the Seraphine. And that's really what spelled disaster for the side of Street Fighters in that fight.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Caleb, there's just so many little things that we can do. Just analyze each and everything that did happen in that fight, in the subsequent fight in that mid lane as the Dragon was taken away by the Street Fighters. But at the risk of at the risk of invoking a 50-minute game, in the words of one of my good friends, it's a movie, right? We have an absolute banger on our hands here as the fights continue to go back and forth. It should have been essentially the Street Fighter's game to lose, as the win conditions have been met, right? Smolder has been able to stay alive for so long. The game hasn't been blown wide open. Nothing too crazy has happened, but yet we still managed to barely stay within a kill a minute here. And once again, we have to figure out, what kind of movie is it, right? Are we going to be seeing, those crazy blockbusters? Are we going to be seeing those, seasonal Hallmark movies? Only time will tell. But right now, Batman and the squad walking into the jungle, trying to stack things up, trying to stack up with an advantage in numbers over their opponent to get those picks, the same picks that led them to victory in that last game.
Yeah, and it's something I love about Monkey Safari is even though they're behind early, just like last game, they know their team identity well, right? They know their composition is all about diving in on their opponents. Whereas Street Fighters, they're still trying to figure it out a bit, right? You got Ares diving in, Joker diving in, but then you got your backline just completely left unattended to, right? So the synergy from Monkey Safari in these team fights have just been absolutely superb. Despite the gold differential they had, and now only down 1k gold on their side, and a lot of that gold being funneled over to a key on that Yunara is huge for their late game potential.
Yeah, I mean, Key now sitting on 3 items, right? That's 50% crit chance 25 minutes into the game. And with that, oh my goodness, I can't even remember half the item names sometimes. And I'm the one being told that I'm supposed to get about this, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I know Runins, I know Infinity Edge. It's
the
don't tell
Slayer?
me, I got this. Yeah, it's Kraken Slayer. Oh well. I play.
Sorry, the words started coming out of my mouth
this.
before I heard you, but
It's fine. I play Yunara. I should know this. I say play Yunara. I don't really play Yunara. I just play a lot of AD carry. Anyway, that being said, Ares might not have the chance to play the game if they do decide they want to dive the Cassante, but thankfully for the side of Monkey Safari and their very enthusiastic fans in the chat, we're not diving Cassante today, right? We're not doing it from full health, not at 26 minutes into the game when you don't have a bunch of armor pen on every single person on your team. That champion is copy pasta worthy for a reason, right? It is very, very difficult to actually get that pick off onto the Cassante. In the meantime, bot lane, a very different story, right? We've got Roy in that bot lane, 245 CS, 27-ish minutes into the game. How many stacks do we actually have on the Smolder is the biggest question here. But right now, as we continue, the Smolder is only getting stronger and stronger. 50% crit chance on Yunara, 50% crit chance on the Smolder. Now, in the meantime, DK Frost still going to be racking up as much damage as possible, picking up as much gold as possible, picking up as much utility as possible with that Rylai's, with that Seeker's Arm Guard.
yeah, I think the Smolder might be fully stacked at this point in time too. Had the 125 pretty early on. But
that's fully stacked.
Well. Yeah, so Roy feeling pretty good at this moment in time. I think the real question is, can you find the team fight you're looking for? We see kind of a death bush right here for the side of Street Fighters, but unfortunately no one actually lurking in the area. It looks like Monkey Safari going to try to push in this mid wave. We get a teleport coming in from Roy as well, so looking for a big team fight potentially here, as Ares is still on the top side, but has the teleport up as Mac Mittens hit by the Spiraling Despair. Here comes Mom as well. Mac Mittens going to be the first one to go down. The Cataclysm comes out, and Batman goes down somehow. Joker is still alive and well here. Void goes down. Double kill over to the Jax, make it a triple here, and things are looking really dire now for Monkey Safari, just alone to Leah alive. But that's going to be another Drake, and that's going to put him on soul points with a fully stacked Smolder on their side.
Yeah, I mean, that all started with one pick onto Mac Middens. The Rakan was trying to make something happen, trying to put their team into a good position here, but all of a sudden GCCE Street Fighters strike first, and they strike fast. And just like that, any opportunity to actually get into the lead parried immediately and punished with that take of that purple worm and that dragon. We're on soul point right now for the GCCE Street Fighters. 3.5 items on a fully stacked smolder, and it's only gonna get harder from here.
Yeah, I mean, outside that one team fight from Monkey Safari on that Otacon, outside of that, things have been looking firmly in control for Street Fighters, and they look to continue that control as much as possible. Joker on this Jax has been absolutely huge, too. They just could not kill Joker at all. And not only that, Joker also picks up 3 kills with the entire team backing him up with the damage. So it's been a tough game. You know, I think Batman obviously getting counterpicked there, but just not having the damage to take out Joker fast enough. And meanwhile, you don't want to ignore the Jax. Oh my gosh, look at that smolder damage. Just a few autos and some spells, and that Rakan is almost in that execute territory. Things are looking rough here as we see 3 completed items here. But Key, not scared of the Smolder, tries to go for the 1v1, but Smolder does take it down. Cataclysm is going to finish off Roy, and we see a turret getting destroyed as well. But that is the power of Smolder, even into the Yunara. Not afraid at all once you get those stacks going.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta say, right, that was honestly closer than I think it had any right being. In the meantime, bot lane going to be a toe-to-toe between Ares and Void. We are seeing the slice and dice come on through. Void going to be able to take that one in the 1v1. This is why that Renekton was picked as the counter pick. This is why Void has so much trust placed on top of them. And just like that, the Renekton going to be able to clear that wave, going to be able to clear out the health bar as Joker coming on in. This is the counter strike, the leap strike, and just like that, Void slowly trying to get on out, but you are not getting away from a man with a real weapon.
Yeah, Joker might be down a level, but not anymore, and is not afraid to take that fight at all. Feeling really strong. I mean, confident in pretty much probably any 1v1 in this game at this moment in time, too. 3 fully items finished off on the Jax, and with the boots still to be upgraded. I mean, things are still looking pretty rough for the side of Monkey Safari, but you see some glimmers of hope, right? Especially in that 1v1 Void versus the Cassante. But if you don't kill the Smolder early enough, it is not going to be a fun time here. As you can see, just doing a huge chunk of damage. Here comes the Weaver Wall, though, going to trap up the 3 carries, or the 3 range champs of the side of Street Fighters, but they are able to get out for the time being. So unfortunately, not the best utilization for that Talia ultimate. I like the idea, but the damage just wasn't there at this moment in time, as they're looking to push down this tier 2 turret. And I think they should be able to get it, especially with that siege cannon in the back here. They do have the grubs as well to help take some of this damage, but maybe not going to be it. Let's see if the siege cannon can take it out. It looks like they're going to be slowly taking this down. And, you know, this is Street Fighters. They don't really need to take the aggression, right? They're just going to just poke at you constantly, especially with the Smolder damage, with the Seraphine, with the Hui. And if you go for the engage, that's when the Jax and the Cassante turn on you. But they have this game firmly in their grasp at the time being.
Firmly in their grasp. And one thing that I have to note here, Caleb, look at the Seraphine's build, right? That is a Redemption fully completed. That is a Moonstone fully completed. But the one combo that is more terrifying on Seraphine than any other combo, Moon Core, right? Moonstone directly into Dawn Core is a ridiculously powerful build here, especially with Reyna sitting at level 13. Should be in trouble here, but they're not going to be able to land either of the knockups, and Reyna's going to walk out scot-free.
Oh, and Mom is going to be called here, but Roy dishing out so much damage and just does not care about full health. This Smolder's just burning everything right now. Gets the double kill, gets the triple kill, and we don't see the Quadra coming out quite yet, as Joker's going to pick up a kill himself. But yeah, this Smolder is starting to dish out all the damage that they need at this moment in time. Just the Talia left alive. They just don't have the damage to kill the Smolder fast enough, right? With the supporting cast, with the healing from the Seraphine as well, you just don't have it. And on top of it, they're still doing so much damage here as Quiet Adam going to flash forward. Spiraling Despair is going to land onto Frost. Seismic Shove is going to push Adam back for the time being, and Frost might just get out of here. But outside of that, things are not looking good, as they're looking to take down the inhibitor turrets on the both bot and maybe mid side as well. Or maybe just going to go back to farm here, as this is going to be sole for the side of Street Fighters. And I just don't think you have what it takes to contend with it if you're Monkey Safari. But like, what's your win condition at this point? Because the late game's not in your favor either.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, there's really only one condition, and that is picks, picks, picks. You have to group together as a team. You have to figure out a moment where you have an opportunity, a moment where you have the ability to get that multi-man advantage, right? And we're just not seeing that kind of opportunity from Monkey Safari here. We saw it in the Sivir game, as it was really easy to hit R and just run at people really fast. But in this kind of game, you don't have that same kind of luxury, right? I mean, especially in a fearless draft, you can't just be relying on Sivir each and every time. Mac Middens on that Rakan, at the very least, has the potential to set up for these picks, but you're not getting these multi-man picks here. You're getting Void taken out in the top lane.
Roy trying to do as much as can. Oh, and the Cataclysm shuts down Roy. That's absolutely huge. Roy does take down Void in the process. You get TP coming in from Adam. Despite Despair does not land, as Frost is trying to dish out damage, but shooting things in the wrong direction so far. Unraveled Earth is going to slow down Ares. Meanwhile, there's a fight going on, and Joker's just trying to take down the entire backline of the side of Monkey Safari. And Joker is so strong right now. Again, it's just Frost left, and there's going to be another Baron going over the side of Street Fighters. Unless Joker can pull off some magic, I don't think it's possible. And unfortunately, even though Talia is surviving these fights, just doesn't have enough damage to take out every member. And that's the thing, it's not just Roy that's strong. Every member on the side of Street Fighters is really strong. Ares actually going quite low to the Baron. Maybe Frost can do something here in this moment in time too. Joker is also on the lower end, as Frost pretty healthy. I believe still has the Zanyas up and is going to pop the stasis beside Joker, but no, Adam is going to be the one to take out Frost. A valiant effort, but does stall things out a little bit. Gives time for the rest of Monkey Safari to respawn to defend this Baron push, but that's about it.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like that's just a very, very difficult position to be in, right? You know, you want the Baron to not be taken by the side of the GCCE Street Fighters, but at the same time, right, the death timers are completely staggered now. That's 30 seconds where your team can never, ever contest anything on the map unless they commit all 4 of the remaining members here. In the meantime, Street Fighters say, well, I mean, if you can only have 4, we're taking all 5 of us, put in everyone in that top lane. And what do you do now against Mooncore Seraphine? We're getting 700 health heals with an encore W before. What in the world are we going to be dealing with this time? If you thought that Smolder was hard to kill before, just wait until you see what these team fights look like.
Yeah, the buildings are just going down so fast. Frost is back up now here too, and we see Mom being called over. There's just not enough damage at this moment in time to Redemption going to be popped, as we see the safety coming through from Frost to buy a little bit of time, but just not enough. Seismic Shove does push down 2 members, but Key is trying to do something, is forced now to recall, and I just don't think there's enough damage from Key even on this Yunara to take out the rest of the members here. Look at the damage just hitting Key in the fountain. It's going to be an ace, and it's going to be a win for Street Fighters, as they're going to force a game number 3 into the undefeated Monkey Safari.
Yeah, and we saw it come so close in game number 1. Game number 2, they managed to stay strong to go straight across that finish line. GCCE Street Fighters going to take victory in game number 2. Mind you, this team is 2-2, middle of the pack right now. On the other side, Monkey Safari, 6 victories, right? I mean, it's
Look at that
so
damage.
Unbelievable. Like, look at that damage coming in from Smolder. What in the world do you do to deal with that? You say, GG's, move on to the next game, right? And game number 3 is now on the table. Can Monkey Safari bleed? What happens when they do go down here? Can they make these comebacks? What is your mental truly made of? Is it a foundation built on something solid, or is it just a foundation made of sand? Don't go anywhere. Game 3, very, very close.
Welcome back, everyone, to Titan Esports Divinity League week number 5, and we have the undefeated Monkey Safari, who has now dropped a game and might not be undefeated for long against GCCE Street Fighters. I'm Caleb Pang. I'm joined with Anti, and we've had 2 banger back-to-back games.
2 banger games, right? And I gotta say, right, GCCE Street Fighters, what are you doing, y'all? Like, you said, hey, can we start things off a little early? We have a little time crunch going. And then you pull that off? Hello? Okay, I didn't realize that we were planning on staying the full 3 games here. I didn't realize that we were planning on potentially taking down the undefeated team, Monkey Safari, right now, where all of a sudden, I don't think that time crunch is the first thing on your minds here. The question is, who is going to take this series? Are Monkey Safari finally going to fall? But right now, we're going into game number 3, and a lot of that genuinely was built off of the incredible draft in game number 2. I loved that draft on red side for the side of GCCE Street Fighters. Very, very varied. Oh my goodness. Very, very varied is mad funny. All memes aside, right?
A lot of berries.
Very, very fun to see. And the constant, flex picks being picked here and there made it difficult for teams to really figure out who was going where. And you ended up with a very good team composition that scaled exceedingly well and was very much rewarded for it.
Yeah, I mean, I think we were both surprised, and maybe everyone watching was surprised when we saw the Smolder mid instead of the bot lane, right? We saw the Hui get picked up, and the mind games too. It just reminds you because they pick up Hui and they ban Galio. So you're thinking, oh, this Hui's definitely going to be in the mid lane, right? Because there's no way you're playing support Galio or whatever in the bot lane. But maybe they had that in mind where they could flex that Hui pick, and clearly they were quite able to. So as we go, final draft, it is fearless. So of course, all the grayed out champions in the bottom are ineligible, and we get another 10 bans here. So a total of 50 champions. Wait, no, sorry, 30 champions out of the pool for this final game. As we get, for the first time, we get Street Fighters actually on the blue side now, and looks like Monkey Safari wants to look for that counter pick, that 5th pickup on the red side.
Yeah, and one thing I will also note here, right? So Monkey Safari right now in game number 3 are still taking away the Aphelios, still taking away the Draven, still going to be taking away the Lilia, I anticipate, right? I mean, we're getting a lot more variation in these team compositions. Not much variation in the first 3 bans, I'll tell you that, right? But right now, this game will be decided make or break by that B1 first pick. What is Ares going to be holding on to for us today here? Please be something interesting. I would honestly say Xin Zhao's not a bad pick here. Ashe, very good one. Now, you don't have Ashe Seraphine available, so at the very least, you just have a very strong and, solid AD carry here. I was going to say you either counter this with a Caitlyn or a Senna. Senna, very, very solid pickup here.
Yeah, I mean, always a small chance that there could be a flex Ashe in the support role. We've seen Reyna playing really well on range champs, but probably not. We get the Rise pickup. We get the Lulu ban on the side of Monkey Safari. So Lilia is on the table. And obviously, they're going to need some AP damage here. Oh, we get the Melio. Okay.
Yeah, and, that's perfect.
Yeah, it's we'll see kind of how. I mean, Lilia there's a chance here. Let's see if Street Fighters is going to opt for it or not. But they do need some AP damage. No, they're going to go with the Victor. Yeah. My guess is they'll probably go for a more tankier option in that jungler role now, given that this backline is quite frail. But you do have some solid range, especially on the Victor.
Yeah, I mean, now we are going to be getting that Camille blind picked up here for Monkey's Safari, especially because we have been seeing the Camille continually getting banned by the side of the Street Fighter. So I'm interested in seeing what this does turn into. Shen going to get banned away. They're trying to get rid of as many Camille counter picks as possible. You know, these champions that are going to be able to just be a brick wall in that top lane. In the meantime, Milio, very, very good pickup for the Ashe here. I mean, it denies the Milio, you know, cleansing the enchanted crystal arrow. It gives Ashe, who's already a long range AD carry, even more range and sustainability. And right now, Vi also going to be taken off the table. Another one of those champions that does really well against the Senna. And now the big question is, what exactly is in store for the Street Fighters? The Bard picked up. Okay, so we're going to be seeing absolutely a farming Senna, as the Bard is almost certainly going to be roaming around. Usually you don't see so much roaming Bard, as the Senna really wants a 2v2, so that way you can focus on the stacks. But Mundo, okay.
Okay, and that could be in the jungle. We'll see based on this final pick. I mean, if they pick another flexible jungle, ooh, that's probably Mundo top. Yeah, that's not. I mean, I've seen some Briar tops, but probably unlikely here. But I like this though. You get a lot of AD, you get a lot of tankiness on the side. You don't. This is the first time I've seen Briar in a long, long time. We get the Trundle pickup on this side. I mean, the composition looks a little bit scary on the side of Street Fighters, not gonna lie. You know, they scale really well. Obviously, you have the Senna on the side of Monkey Safari, but I mean, they got some scaling champions too, right? The Camille can definitely get pretty scary there. Oh, wait, it is a Briar top.
Oh,
okay. Well, Street Fighters switch things around yet again. I mean, Mundo in the jungle definitely is solid, right? As we've seen G2 do it on the main stage at Worlds. But I've seen a few Briar top games in my Platinum games, but again, these are Platinum games. However, this is also Divinity League, so it is Emerald 4 and below. So maybe right up the alley here. How's this Briar versus Camille matchup go?
So the big thing about Briar versus Camille is that Camille is one of those champions that has a lot of disengage, right? And also has the ability to just get that poke down, right? You got that W, very, very good. You've got the Q at the very least for that early burst damage. And if Briar does go in on you with that Blood Frenzy, you got your hook shot, right? Yep. I mean, Briar can have that point and click CC, so at the very least, it'll be very, very difficult for the Camille to be getting away when Mundo walks into the lane. But if you're really relying on the jungler, I'm not 100% certain as to how that's going to work out. But I'm completely honest, I'm not the most familiar with the way how Briar top works as far as these matchups go. But who is, right? I mean, Ares almost certainly is going to have more matchup experience in this matchup than Void is. So I'm really excited to see what this does turn into. Briar top is an interesting one here, but my eyes go on to that Mundo in the jungle. Y'all already know I despise Mundo, but Mundo in jungle is something I can much more get my mind around, especially since it was picked when Camille was visible.
Yeah, I love the mind games from the side of Street Fighters, right? Just picking all these like kind of flex picks there to throw things off a bit. As I mean, what was their final pick? It was a Trundle as a counter pick, but you're thinking it's Briar jungle, right? As you're going for it too. So even if you don't have the red side here, you could confuse your opponents even if they have that final counter pick option. As we see, and Joker just finding some space here, and oh man, it should be an interesting one too. Who do you favor in this specific matchup? Because I think in the late game, I mean, killing this Mundo is going to be a time and a half, especially with Emilio on the side.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. Now, the biggest thing that I do have to say, right? This is a no flash top lane, right? It's teleport, it's ignite. Neither of these top laners are going to have flash. Neither of these top laners are going to have a way out. We're going to be seeing both of these junglers clear bottom to top, and it is going to be a bloodbath between these two. Now, the Raptors ward is actually extremely important from the side of Monkey Safari here, as it being as far in as it is means that you will catch the Mundo on vision, even if the Mundo does opt to skip those Raptors. In the meantime, the Raptors ward might not necessarily catch the Trundle on the other side, for the side of the Street Fighters. This top lane looking pretty good for Void already. Remember, Briar has 0 natural regeneration.
Yeah, we're going to have to see how Ares plays that out. Ares apparently very familiar with this. Going to just push back Void a little bit. But the CS is not looking great for this Briar in this early game. As, you know, you can see this Camille just gobbling up all the minions as much as possible. Meanwhile, Nightmare taking advantage of that. Oh, wait, I think they swapped out their mid laner for this game. Because that's Nightmare now in the mid lane instead of Roy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we do know that Street Fighters was going into this saying, hey, we have a little bit of a time crunch going. And we were joking a little bit about it as time went on, but now that we were getting into game number 3, we realized that, yeah, that time crunch actually did mean quite a lot, as Adam right now just trading blow for blow with Key and McMinnon's in that bot lane. Look at this Senna going lower and lower. Remember, there's no heal on the Bard, only the barrier available for the Senna.
Yeah, but definitely a little bit of sustain between the Bard and Senna in their skills. So maybe could hang in the lane a little bit, but Adam really just being aggressive in here. Speaking aggressive, Nightmare's coming in here for the 3rd game, trying to do some work into Frost, even though down a level in this specific position. But getting the better of that trade, forcing Frost to take that early recall.
Yeah, early recall almost certainly going to be turning into that teleport in that bin lane that we're already seeing. But that's a tier pick up for the Rise. We already know and love to see that. In the meantime, Ares, oh, we're gonna 2v2 in the top lane.
All right, Joker and Batman are in position. They are kind of splitting up the Batman and Void, forcing Batman to flash out their Ignite already spent, and Void now in trouble here. Can you land a Bone Saw is the real question here. Oh, it does!
There it is!
That's going to be Joker picking up the first blood on the Mundo. Definitely not what you want to see. Nightmare out of mana at this point in time. Frost going to be able to do some damage, but opting to just slowly chip away at Nightmare. Nightmare still has the ability to recall and teleport back, but we get that first blood going over to the side of Street Fighters. That's absolutely huge for them, especially for this top lane, especially for this Mundo as well. You can see this fight didn't look too bad for the side of Monkey Safari, but they're just split. And look at that minion wave. So many ranged minions. You just can't really just fight in that, take all that damage, especially early on, forcing Batman to run. And I think maybe a slight miscommunication between Batman and Void, or Void just trying to buy some space for their jungler. But the suitcase lands, and the first blood cashes in for Joker.
Yeah, I mean, what can you say except Bonesaw is ready. No Spider-Man shot to safety there, as Void going to be going down early. Ares and Void still trading blow for blow here. And right now, this wave might be getting pushed in, but Briar feeling very, very good here. Just going to be able to pick up as much CS as possible. But right now, we're going to have to see, as the game continues, what are you going to actually do with this gold lead, right? It went straight into Mundo's pockets. What is that actually turning into? As, you know, Joker still hasn't actually recalled, right? Still hasn't actually made use of that gold. It's actually going to be Batman who manages to pick up the Sheen and able to clear out more of the jungle as time goes on.
Yeah, I think probably going to try to rush for that Warmogs or the Heartsteel. A lot of Mundo opting to just kind of skip the Warmogs and going straight for the Heartsteel. Know that you're not really in lane fighting as much and need, you know, the sustain to heal back up and just constantly split push. But yeah, I mean, things are already looking pretty good for Street Fighters to kick things off. Obviously, the Senna in the late game can be a problem, but when you have such meat shields like Mundo and then Briar just dive in on you, it could not matter too much. Let's see, Nightmare coming back into this game, first game here, and already feeling pretty warmed up after Roy carrying the first 2 bits here, as Adam just adding on the pressure as much as possible. He is doing some damage, but out of mana at this point in time too. Reyna going to be able to get out, no problem here, but the aggression is really layered on here for Adam and Reyna in this bot lane.
Yeah, extremely high amount of aggression. I mean, right now, Ares just looking to posture to try to make something happen, as the 2v2 is almost certainly going to happen in the top lane once again.
Joker is in position, but a little bit called out here. Certain death does land right onto Void, and you get the fear onto Batman as well. Hextech Ultimatum comes through, but Frost is here for backup, and Ares trying to lifesteal as much as possible, doesn't quite get there. here as we see the maximum dosage is popped for Joker, trying to heal up as much as possible. Pillar comes through, oh, and gets chomped, and Frost actually takes the kill. 2 kills going over the side of Monkey Safari. Meanwhile, Reina in the bush trying to help out a little bit. The root is going to land onto the Ashe, but no follow-up damage for the time being, as the aggression is going to continue between these two bot laners. But a huge pickup there for the side of Monkey Safari on that top lane.
Yeah, a huge pickup here. And remember, Ares still hasn't managed to pick up a single one of these kills, but neither has Void. These early kills not amounting to nearly enough as far as the trades go here. How much closer are we going to be getting to these Triforces? Batman right now already more than halfway there, and one of the biggest concerns I have going into this game, right, is recognizing the fact that there is one tank on the side of GCCE Street Fighters, and that is Joker on that Mundo. Now remember, when you've got a single tank composition into a Mundo, you have a a one tank composition into a Trundle, you have a no tank composition. Right? If you play these fights at the wrong time, Trundle will just steal all your resists and you are going to be going down immediately. I don't care how much health you have. No resist is no resist.
As we see, Street Fighters is going to try to clean up the scrubs as much as possible. That's going to be really beneficial for them if they can. As we know, Trundle just loves just knocking down turrets whenever possible. It looks like they're going to give it up. Meanwhile, there's going to be a fight going on. Rooted is going to be Nightmare, and it's going to be ignited as well. Can Frost pick up another kill? Tries to get it, not quite going to do it. Oh, and Bard going for it too, just missing out on some of that damage, making things quite uncomfortable for Nightmare at the time being. ADCs in the bot lane, going to go for a little skirmish. We saw this in both of the first 2 games here. Adam lands the arrow as well, kiting as much as possible. Oh, here comes the Temper Fate to slow things down a bit. Bard is in the area. Meanwhile, Void and Ares are fighting. Hextech Ultimatum is coming through, and Ares in trouble here. Somehow no one's died yet, but Adam is
the tower shot
this world, and the tower shot does secure the kill on the key. Adam preventing the 1v3 dive and getting a kill out of it too. Absolutely huge for Adam on this Ashe. Best that Monkey Safari can hope for is just crashing this wave, but Adam is still actually in the area as well, and that is a huge setup for Street Fighters in this position. A failed gank, and also the kill going over. Barrier spent and splash spent as well on the Senna.
Yeah, I mean, that's tragic for Key right there. I mean, look to not only get that full kill, but manage to pick up that auto. Lands directly on the tower, unfortunately, and here we go. Hold on.
Joker in trouble. Maximum dosage already used, but not healed up quite a bit. And boy is going to catch Joker. Feats of Warfare is going to be cleaned up, as Frost is going to be the one to take up another kill. This Rise is actually quite far ahead, too. Look at that. Hold on. Here comes the certain death. It lands onto Mac Mittens, and Mac Mittens is going to go down. I was just talking about how ahead Frost is, but Frost is in trouble now, too. As you can see, the Briar jumping on top. Arcane Storm is thrown out, but just not doing enough damage yet. Frost is going to be able to get out a-okay. A good certain death from Ares to get something out of nothing, but it is just going to be the support that goes down there. Mac Mittens, though, already 2-0-1 with over a 20 CS lead over the Victor. But Victor's going to be the first one to have the completed item, skipping the boots for the time being. So trying to match some of this aggression damage from the Rise, but this Rise is starting to look a little bit scary.
Yeah, I mean, not only is Frost able to find a lead as far as the CS goes, able to find a lead as far as the gold goes, able to do this all while roaming. But in the meantime, bot lane, we're starting up a big fight.
Ashe arrow did land, but Temper Fate is going to slow down the Ashe just a bit here as Mac Mittens and Key is going to get out here. Batman's is looking on the pursuit here. Can get the Pillager land. Pill does slow down Adam, but Adam has so much peel, especially with Reina by their side, and Adam is looking quite good already. Yuntao's already finished up for this Ashe. No boots yet, though, for Ashe, so going to be on the slower side of things, but not really seeming like Adam has any trouble running away from danger. But yeah, Street Fighters, I mean, you know, it's pretty even. Gold is almost exactly even here. The real question is, can you deal with Joker in the late game? So far, Joker has not been as big of a problem, right? 2 deaths, but Heartsteel is finished up on this Mundo, and the Mundo is going to start getting stacked up as fast as possible. Reina taking a lot of damage, especially from the electrocute part. Actually, I didn't even notice that rune until now. The root lands, and Adam might be in slight trouble here as Dawning Shadow does come through just for some damage, and Batman is here yet again. I feel like this deja vu pillar does land onto Reina, and Adam trying to guide it out, takes out Mac Mittens. Best that they could hope for at this moment in time, and now Joker is in the presence, but maybe a little bit too late here as they finally take out Adam, but not before losing Mac Mittens in the process.
Yeah, I mean, you trade your Bard for yet another kill for your jungler. That might be a fully completed Heartsteel on the side of Joker, but that is ever closer to that fully completed Triforce for Batman. Remember, I mean, Batman and Void are literally just holding hands as they read the UGG together. You know, just pick up the most popular build on Mobifier. Both of them just building into that Triforce. They've got their magical footwear. I mean, they got matching shoes and everything, but in the meantime, Void matching every single one of Ares' trades, blow for blow.
Yeah, Ares doing a good job of keeping up with CS, at least has a kill to their name as well. So we're going to see, though, Riot obviously going to have a lot of impact in team fights later on, especially if you could land a certain death. Also has some splitting potential, too. But this Trundle looking pretty strong, though, for Batman, and Joker just trying to farm up as much as possible, because no matter how farmed up this Trundle is, the Mundo can still be quite a problem, take up a lot of space in these fights, as Frost is getting caught out here, has not died yet, but things are not looking great as the suitcase is going to be thrown to slow down Frost, and Joker's going to be the one to pick up the kill. That's definitely going to be something you'll love to see if you're a business Mundo lover right there. First death goes over now for Frost.
Yoink. Going to just walk on up, get that E off, and get a lot of damage in there. In the meantime, Void, once again, just going to get those Qs off. I mean, it's so much damage. Ares, at the very least, going to be able to heal a lot of it back, utilizing that W, utilizing that E. -1. Okay, every single time I look into the top lane, one of these top laners is missing another siege. Y'all really, please, for the love of all things good and holy. Another one!
Oh.
I'm gonna crash out.
You know,
I'm gonna lose it.
At least it's pretty even on that regard, as the Temper Fate is going to land. A pillar slows down Adam as well. Adam in a really tough spot. Adam's gotten out so many times before. Can Adam get out again? It looks like not going to be the case, as Batman is going to have to spend the flash to get out of there. But here comes Joker. The Heartsteel stacks are coming through here. Frost has run-warped over for some assistance, but Joker just skirmishing back and forth with this Trundle, not worried at all. Smacking around with the suitcase. Now going to pick up Mac Mittens as well. So 2 for 1 so far for Street Fighter. The root lands. Meanwhile, the top lane skirmish is going through as well, and Hextech Ultimatum is coming through. Void generally going to take the better of this one, but taking a lot of damage still in this skirmish with the Briar. Ignite is going to land. No further deaths going to be had, but we do get the first kill over. Batman does finally die here into that Mundo. Oh, and Void going for it and gets it too. Void getting the betters of Ares yet again in this series. And just showing why this Camille was respect banned in those first 2 games from Street Fighters. But it does slip through in this final 3rd game. Oh, teleport coming through.
Yeah, I mean, it's a teleport coming in from Nightmare as well. And Joker and Adam's trying to find a way how to get all the way into here. But look, Frost is already... No, Frost isn't even in the location. It's just a matter of trying to figure out, can we actually force this, right? Our jungler hasn't quite yet finished the jungle snacks. So, you know, at the same time, both of these junglers aren't going to have access to that full 1200 damage smite. But what is Nightmare going to have access to? Access to a Mundo. I mean, when in doubt, just pop the assist, right? You should be fine. It might be Street Fighter, but at the very least, we're playing it like Skullgirls. Get the rest of the team going. Get as many people fighting at once. And try to keep that combo up, as the dragon, once again, going to be taken down by the side of the Street Fighters.
Yeah, it looks like Monkey Safari does not want to contest this. I mean, Senna just zoned out a bit here, and the Rise is content to farm that bot lane. Meanwhile, the skirmish is still going to continue on this top side. Air trying to do whatever they can in this specific matchup, but Void is not scared of this 1v1 at all. Camille doing a lot of work, and the Triforce is online as well. and Senna is there for some backup. So I think they're probably looking for potentially this Rift Herald here, as Victor is maybe a little bit too far out on his own. Let's see if Ares can hold off this wave, but I think Void is going to just rotate over, maybe to objective. No, not quite.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, my biggest concern here, right, is this is a mountain rift, right? I mean, on one hand, Mountain Soul, very, very, very good for the side of the Street Fighters, right? If you get Mountain Soul with a Mundo, game might as well be over. That being said, right, this is Camille. This is Bard, right? These are champions that do so much work with, you know, the extra walls. I mean, even Pillar of Filth coming in from Batman's Trundle is going to be able to do so much work on top of that. In the meantime, Key gonna get locked up a little bit, but not as locked up as Nightmare is in that mid lane. Like, Midden's also saying hi, but saying goodbye just as quickly. Mid lane tower is almost certainly going to be going down very soon. But what does the roaming Goon squad have ready for them in the top lane?
Oh, Batman's a perfect pillar here. Oh, but the arrow lands and Certain Death comes through. A huge Certain Death from Ares as Batman goes down. Void is in trouble. Also gets taken down from Nightmare. Absolutely massive re-engage from the side of Street Fighters. Quick response here. All 5 members now contesting the Rift Herald, and things are looking a little tough now for Monkey Safari, and that's really the team fight potential there, right? You got the Mundo to soak up the damage, the arrow to follow up, and then the Certain Death to land into 3 members all balled up for Monkey Safari. That just did not spell success for them at all, as their top side does get taken out in that fight. Rift Herald goes over to Street Fighters, and you know the pushing potential is already pretty strong here. 3 grubs, plus Rift Herald, plus you got Mundo just banging on stuff, and Ares going to try to grab this first turret.
Yeah, I mean, Ares is certainly going to be able to do so, but right now the question is, what is going to happen? Is Ares going to be able to get on out? No, almost certainly will not die, actually, as Joker also in the area, going to make sure that Void doesn't manage to seal the entire deal. Meantime, Adam right now, we're not going to be walking up anywhere too close. Adam and Reyna in that bot lane are a duo that has been shown to be extremely, extremely powerful as this series has gone onwards, right? I mean, Reyna with her consistent play on those enchanters, Adam with their continual play on a variety of champions, drawing 2 respect bans every single game, and there goes Middens. Goodbye to Bard.
From downtown, Adam snipes out the Bard. I mean, that trajectory was crazy prediction from Adam, but just landing arrows across the map all game long. Only 3 and 2 on this Ashe, but just playing very aggressively and just being involved in so many of the fights there too, right? 7 out of 10 kill participation as the Rift Herald is going to crash onto this mid turret. I don't know if they actually grab it. They're going to push it for it. Yeah, they do. With the 3 grubs, that's going to be an easy turret there. And now Batman's on the run. The suitcase is going to land. Batman is slowed up quite a bit here. As you can see, Ares playing aggressive, but now caught in a really tough position. Ares does go down. It's going to be fed over to the Senna, and Key's going to love that as Joker is now caught in a tough position. Maximum Dosha is going to be popped, but not going to be enough. A huge temper fate to set up this fight. And the stun, unfortunately, doesn't land in time, but Void trying to chase for a bit more. I don't know if they have the firepower for this yet, but Reyna does go down, and the flash forward from Batman, maybe a little bit too eager. Oh, and actually getting the kill onto Void from Nightmare, so getting a little bit something back here. But so far, 3-for-1 trade. Key is low at this point in time, but you know, Adam's not scared to take the aggression. Mac Mittens still full health. I think they're going to try to pull off here a little bit here as Nightmare and Adam still trying to hold off the wave a bit, but overall, a great fight for Monkey Safari to get back into this game.
Yeah, Monkey Safari going to be dropping 2 members for so many more kills. And I gotta say, right, it's very, very interesting to see just how much damage Frost has been able to put out on this Rise. Like, Rise, one of those champions that I think in your solo queue games at the very least is very much a, oh, hold on, who cares about that? Mittens is literally solo killing Adam right now. Hello?
3 levels down, but that's the electrocute Bard for you here. The assistance from Reyna is going to heal Adam back up, but that could be kind of scary too as the Bard gets a few more items. But yeah, that damage was kind of it's pretty bursty, which I think is good into some of these, into at least Adam as a more frail champ.
Caleb, Mittens doesn't have any damage items.
That's true. Yeah.
Mittens has a blood song.
Yeah, I don't know, and a ruby crystal, which is obviously not helping at all. But
There's also the winged moon plate. You know, it's just Bard doesn't have any health scalings. That's just Bard. Hello?
What a time it is, as looks like Street Fighters is going to try to grab this Drake, and I think Monkey Safari is just going to let this go. They don't have the position needed. They don't have the manpower as well. As you see, the Camille is going to be still on that top side, but that is things are looking pretty good still for Street Fighters at this moment in time. Goal differential is under 1K though, so it's still a close game. It's just really the late game is what you really have to be concerned about, but Senna might be grabbing a lot of stacks too, so definitely don't count out Monkey Safari yet. And you know their team fight potential has a lot up their sleeve with this undefeated team.
Yeah, obviously very, very strong together as a team here. But right now, Adam, once again, going to be getting caught up in that mid lane. At the very least, Mittens is going to be able to just stun up the Ashe, and there they go.
Oh, and the CC combo is huge, but I don't know if this magical journey was so magical from Mac Mittens. Run straight into Mundo, but they don't have the damage to fight them, and they're going for maybe the Otacon. The Ashe is taken out, but we've seen this happen in the past, and you have the Briar as well. With certain death, it is not hard to land it into this group of players here at Otacon, but they're going for it. You see the Rise TP as well too. Oh, here comes a certain death. Can Briar land it is the real question. They're clearing the way for it because they hear the proc sound, and the Briar does land though, and it hits Batman as well. We're taking a long journey over, and Ares does go for the engage, but look at this. They're just buying space. That's absolutely huge. They just leashed it for the Otacon. What a team player Ares is, landing onto jungler, forcing their entire team back, and then they end up just giving up Otacon in the process. They want something out of this, though, as the Realm War forces so many members in. Joker trying to do whatever he can. Takes out Mac Mins for now, and this Mundo's going to town. Here comes the Ashe as well. Adam is going to try to clean up. Boy goes down, but Adam is low at this point in time, too. Key is getting a double kill. The Senna is looking pretty strong, 4, 1, and 5 right now. 2 items completed, and a bloodbath here on this top side from the Otacon. But yet again, getting baited into the Otacon, and an amazing ultimate from Ares to set things up.
Yeah, I genuinely don't know how to feel about that Otacon, because like every single time teams get one pick and they say, oh, let's go Otacon. Guys, Otacon's harder to take than Baron. We've seen teams on the tier 1 stage lose so many times by throwing around Otacon. It is not worth it to just go for it like that. Yes, you managed to get 4 kills, but you lost Otacon. It's a really big deal. Right now, you're going to be losing out on the levels, the level lead that you did have, and you're going to be losing out on so much more damage if one person goes down in the team fight. And then against a team with Victor, do you really want to be giving resetting slows onto a kill? I don't really know about that one, but in the end, Baron Nashor is going to be up, and it is going to be even more scaling coming in from Monkey Safari as that Rise is getting scarier and scarier. But every time I see Otacon, I just cringe a little harder.
Oh, it's a bait. I mean, if they could bait the best of the best in the world to taking a bad Otacon, you sure know it can happen in Divinity League as well. You know, this Rise is pretty strong. I mean, look at the CS differential, like almost 70 ahead of Nightmare, but Nightmare also 4-0 and 6, so having a lot of gold up his sleeves as well. But, you know, these two mid laners are dishing out quite a bit of damage in these fights, and the Mundo is getting stacking as well, as we're closing on 200 hard steel stacks. But the extra experience from the Otacon is going to be quite nice for the side of Street Fighters. It's still a pretty even game. Now, gold lead is finally going over to the side of Monkey Safari, but that difference is not that big. But we do have the Rabadons up now for Frost, and that's huge for this Rise. 3-item spike and almost fully stacked Dark Seal as well too. This Rise can be a problem, especially because you don't have a lot of magic resist on the side of Street Fighters at all.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really have so much magic resist on the side of the Street Fighters, but it's not like there's a magic resist item that also increases healing or anything. Ha ha ha.
Yeah,
Right. I mean, Joker's going to be so unbelievably problematic as the game goes on. But right now, Frost, with that death cap, is about as strong as he'll ever be in comparison to Joker here. Is the Rise going to survive, though? Enchanted Crystal Arrow not going to land.
All right, just jukes it. Adam missing out on arrow, but one of the few arrows that Adam has missed out on. But they do push Frost out of the
You
river
get
for
this?
now, and they're going to set up for this Drake. This will put him on soul point. It is also Mountain Drake. Oh, and looks like Monkey Safari might be just giving this up. They just want to go for it. Oh, we get the Temper Fate to land onto the Victor. Victor hasn't died yet. Oh, Nightmare flashes right out there too. Avoids the hook shot and a flash shot from the Melio on top of it. But this is huge for Monkey Safari because they not only get that mid turret, but they also are getting this Drake as Void is in the thick of it. Hextech Ultimatum going through, tries to get Adam and does get Adam in the process. Void still trying to survive for now and might just do it as Joker's trying to slam away, but no, Joker goes down now too. Batman's going to be the one taking the kill. Nightmare takes out Mac Mittens for the time being, but Frost is doing so much damage on this Rise, but the laser does take down the Rise. However, it is going to be an ace for Monkey Safari. They pick up 5-4-2 and they get the Drake to slow things down, and the gold lead is starting to balloon in their favor.
And off the power of the Shy style TP, Void gonna be able to force a crazy fight around that dragon. And all of a sudden, it's not just gonna be the dragon, it's going to be the purple worm taken as well. Baroned up and powerful as ever. I gotta say, if anyone ever doubted Void, y'all better be signing your apology forms, because that was a thing of beauty. I don't know whether it was a thing of beauty in... There's just way too many ways to describe it. Either way, the random teleport from over the wall from Void going to be doing so much work there. That's also going to be even more damage coming in for Frost here. I mean, all memes aside, Frost was doing so much damage in that team fight still. Very little magic resist on the side of Joker. And remember, if you're playing against a one tank composition and you have a Trundle, you're playing against a no tank composition.
You just gotta seal those resistances, you know. And yeah, what a fight there too. It looks like they end up pulling off the Baron, which a little bit of sigh of relief maybe for Street Fighters there. Just not confident they could take it down with the Senna and the Trundle. But yeah, I mean, Void's been all over the map too, right? Highest kill participation on the team and just buying so much space, just diving at him, just shutting down all that damage. And yeah, Nightmare did dish out a lot of damage on the Victor, but Victor by himself is just not going to be able to do it, as Joker even went down to Void as well. The Ravenous Hydra really providing a lot of heal for that Camille. Looks like they're going for a flank, but this is going to be spotted out with the ward. Mac Mittens is in slight trouble. Does take the magical journey out of there for the time being. Oh, and Certain Death does not land as well, so that's going to be Briar Ultimate spent as well, leading up to this Baron fight. I don't think either team's going to be taking the Baron at this time being, with all members up, and TP is still up for this Briar as well. But yeah, I mean, this is a pretty interesting game back and forth. The Victor is pretty scary now too. Rabadon's finish off on this Victor, almost fully scaled up as well. So both mid laners looking very, very strong in this game.
Yeah, extremely, extremely strong. But right now, watch this Baron. You got to be so careful around it. Teleport is available for Ares, but this Baron is melting.
Yeah, oh, and they get it spotted out here too, so they know, and Ares is going to teleport. Certain Death is down though, so they cannot go for that strong engage that we've seen in the past few fights, but it was enough to scare them off the Baron, which is still a pretty solid spot for Street Fighters to be in here, and they might look to reset as now that they know all members of Monkey Supreme is just going to be defending this mid lane here and just doing a lot of poke damage. So both teams, they know this next fight can be the game, so they are playing it as cautiously as possible. But the team fight potential on both sides is very, very strong depending on their positioning.
Yeah, depending on their positioning, but
Oh,
watch
here comes
this
the rub ward.
position here.
Adam caught in a tough position yet again. If they can pick off Adam on this Asher, could be huge. And the certain death does whiff, doesn't land. Key is now dominating 6-1 and 9 on the Senna. The Senna is starting to look kind of scary. And it looks like they might be positioning for this Baron, or maybe they're just trying to bait him in. Let's see what they're going to do here. You know that Street Fighters is aware that they are in this area. Frost getting completely chunked here. Arcane Storm is going to come through, and Frost being stunned up is not going to be a good time here as Nightmare picks up the kill on Frost. This could spell disaster for Monkey Safari as Void is going to dive onto the carry again, is on a killing spree, takes out the Victor, and the jungler goes down as well. Ares, only person left here in this area. Ares trying to make something out of nothing. Can you take out Void? No, not going to be case, and now things have really turned things around. The pickoff on the Rise was not enough, and Void doing work yet again with the entire crew and cast of Monkey Safari to back him up. This bear is for sure going to go over the side of Monkey Safari, and they're looking to keep their undefeated streak alive in this third game.
Yeah, in game number 3, it's just back and forth and just pick after pick after pick, and each and every one of these picks turns into so much more. And right now, 6-1 and 12 is key on that Senna. Honestly, I really want a Senna's stack count, right? Because he has been an unsung hero of this game. We've been singing the praises of Void. We've been talking about how much damage Frost has been doing, but 6-1 and 12 on the Senna is nothing to scoff at, especially with the rapid fire cannon completed. Should be extremely long range auto attacks. I would not be surprised if Key outranges towers with that rapid fire cannon proc.
Yeah, Key's been kind of silently just doing damage in the back. I know Void's getting a lot of attention diving in there, but Key's damage, I would not be surprised, is off the charts after when we look at the end game screen here, as third mountain Drake is going to be spawning up here. Monkey Safari looking like in a really good position right now too. I mean, you know, yes, they have the Mundo to be worried about, but do they have the damage? The real question, as the arrow is going to land. Oh, and the follow-up with a certain death, but just going to be out to Batman for a time being. Meanwhile, Void is on top of Nightmare. Nightmare trying to get away from it, just does not get away. Void, however, might be calling down place. Oh, the realm warp to back up Void. Void does go down, but so does Joker. Double kill going to the Rise, and now Adam goes down too. It's just Reyna on the Emilio. Emilio is not going to have the damage to do anything here, as it looks like Monkey Safari is going to try to continue their undefeated streak alive here in Divinity splits in this season so far here, as they're going to push down the turrets. They have a couple minutes and another wave coming through as well. I think they have the damage for what it takes. There's not enough time here. 18 seconds, 15 seconds, but certain
there's absolutely enough time. They're going for it. And just like that, Caleb, we saw it in game number 1. We're seeing it in game number 3. Monkey Safari, when they have an inch, they'll take a mile. And just like that, ending the game off of one crazy fight. It 34 minutes in. Victory to the continued undefeated victors. Monkey Safari keeping it as boring as possible as far as the standings are concerned. The game count will not tell you the true story of the bangers we had tonight.
Wow, what a series between these two teams. And, you know, hats off to Street Fighter as well to make all the games really close. You know, both first and third game that they lost, they could have easily still won, but the execution was just a step ahead from the side of Monkey Safari. Look at that damage as well too. Oh, I mean, Void on this Camille was absolutely wild. I mean, a ton of damage from the Victor on the side of Nightmare. Nightmare stepping in for that third game. Great on them to do as a team player, but Void was just diving in on those carries. Doesn't matter how much damage you dish out on the Victor and the Ash, you're going down with Void in the process and just opening up the entire team fight for the rest of the team. And yeah, what a series. You know, I love the unique picks as well from Street Fighters. Briar top, the Smolder mid to throw things off a bit in the lane assignments, but it was not enough to take the series. And it looks like Monkey Safari will continue their undefeated streak, and they are now 5-0 in Divinity League.
Yeah, 5-0. They are going to be dropping a game. They've shown they're not immortal just yet, but they are still definitely a team you have to keep your eye on if you're sitting in Group B, as they sat atop the standings, and they continue to sit on top of their throne. Make sure that you catch the rest of the Titan Esports broadcast throughout the week. Thank you, everyone, so much for tuning in, and we hope you all have a wonderful evening and a wonderful week.